because I will not.
Hello, friends.
I repeat, I will not
here. I'm just
let
everything up.
Everything I fought for be taken away by Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
My name is
Y'all ready?
Catherine Prather.
I
am 18 years old, and I am the youngest delegate from West Virginia. I'm suited up and ready for battle.
I don't know what's happening.
I will not let my
but
freedom
we are live.
Be taken away by Donald Trump.
Political Theater with Dr. Taylor. Welcome, everyone. We are going to be digging in. Tonight is Obama night, so listen to me.
Of the United States.
Let me just make sure.
Kamala
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is
Hi,
DJ
everyone. I'm
Cassidy.
so happy to see you.
You ready?
Join our community. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to like the video on your way
My
in.
home state of Wisconsin. How do you cast your vote?
Oh no, that's it.
Thank you,
I'm actually, let me put a comment in
for all
there.
your good
Join
work.
us on YouTube for a better experience.
Great state of Wisconsin.
Last night, the
We're
chat
home.
was popping,
Green Bay
so we
Packers.
want to make sure that
We're home of the Wisconsin Badgers.
and go to the
We're home of the
live.
Milwaukee Brewers.
So last night, we
Bucks,
had
and we'll ask you
folks
as
coming to
Senator,
Instagram,
our
and then they
best
saw my
Senator,
note about
Abby
joining us
Baldwin.
on
our
YouTube,
great
and they came over to YouTube.
Wedmore and
So,
Spokane.
YouTube, we are here.
I'm
Welcome.
here because
Feel
I'm
free to
jazz
join us
as
in the
hell.
chat. Tonight is
announce
Obama night.
that Wisconsin cast one vote present and 94 votes.
And so we are preparing for that. We are preparing for Obama night.
Former Wisconsin.
Join us over on YouTube if you're coming through Instagram. Yes, thank you. Ready to hear your comments on Barry's speech. And shout out to you for calling him Barry, because I do too, and people get so bothered when I do that.
94 votes.
The motherfucker spent like the first 20 years of his life being called Barry. Like, I don't. It's not like it's not his name. It's his name that his wife.
I'll get there. Jason, I'll get there.
Y'all, I just want y'all to know.
94 votes.
Welcome. I see YouTube is growing. We're getting more
Wisconsin,
people coming in. Come on over to YouTube.
Vice President.
Because when you go to YouTube, you can type in the comments, and then I can share your comments with everyone. And it's community. We love it. So welcome, everybody that's coming in. I see the YouTube numbers are growing. I see the Instagram numbers are dwindling. Make your way on over. We're gonna have a good freaking time tonight. I love doing this with you all.
How do you cast your vote?
Just a reminder,
Mr. Secretary, delegates, my name's Joe Barbuto, and these
just a reminder,
you know,
I love doing what I'm doing here. I'm a streamer for the political stuff. I do have my PayPal and my Venmo and my Cash App available. If you want to send us just a couple of coins, that'd be wonderful. If you don't, I totally get it. We're here, we're building community. And somebody said, I love it. I ain't here to watch the BS, because you all understand. You already know this is fucking circus, political theater. So here, I appreciate you too. Thank you. We appreciate you. I appreciate you too. I'm here for you guys every night for the DNC. Come in, join the chat. We are in the chat. The chat is popping already. We haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet. Y'all know last night we went from 9 to 12:45 a.m. So you all know I am locked in. I'm here for you. This is time that I'm sharing, that we are going to share our thoughts on what is going on. Of course. Listen, if you know anything about me, I am here for a building community. I don't know what the fuck he's talking
curiosity, and kindness, even and especially when we disagree. But he wasn't just a great teacher. He was also a great neighbor and friend. In fact,
but one thing I do know is that community is important. And so as these YouTube numbers increase, I'm so happy to welcome you all here. This is actually going to be a really great night, y'all. It's Obama night, okay? And I already saw earlier that they had Common
Minnesota, let me
performing.
hear you.
You know what? We
There
already
you
got
go.
see.
14 years in the National Football League taught me a lot about leadership. A good leader cannot be selfish.
You ain't lying, though.
He has to look out for his team.
You ain't lying, though. Come on over to YouTube. Somebody said heading over to
unselfish
YouTube
come.
now. Come
He has
on
led
over.
Minnesota with
Get over
honesty
here. It's a party.
and
I
integrity.
put it up on Instagram so you
And
all
in
know.
November,
Come on
Minnesota is going to send Tim Walz and Kamala Harris to the White House. Let's go!
Oh, God. Is they playing Prince?
I'm Amy Klobuchar, the senator from the great state.
I know you fucking lying to me.
Where nearly everyone votes and purple reigns.
Wait, what? What?
And I'm Tina Smith from the great state of Minnesota. The home of the next Vice President of the United States, Tim Walz.
What is happening? Oh my God.
Minnesota, we cast 10 votes present, and we deliver 81 votes
Present.
for Kamala Harris
Present.
and Tim Walz.
Present. They are playing Prince. Prince would not be okay with this, y'all. He would not be okay with this. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what is this music? I'm sorry, what is this music? Y'all,
the great state of California. How do you cast your vote?
It's nigga night at the fucking DNC.
My name's Governor Gavin Newsom.
Oh. Who was in running
the
for
great
VP?
state of Nancy Pelosi. I come from a state like our nation of dreamers, of doers, of entrepreneurs, of innovators that prides itself on being on the leading and cutting edge of new ideas. California is the most diverse state in the world's most diverse
Are they playing
democracy.
California Love by Tupac?
And we pride ourselves.
And Dr. Dre.
We pride ourselves on our ability to live together and advance together and prosper together across every conceivable and imaginable difference. But the thing we pride ourselves most on is that we believe the future happens in California first. And Democrats, I've had the privilege for over 20 years to see that future taking shape with a star in Alameda courtroom by the name of Kamala Harris.
Hold on, real quick.
I saw...
Real quick. White people, y'all can't say that.
Economic
they not like
social
us.
justice. I saw that star get even brighter as Attorney General of California, as a United States Senator, and as Vice President of the United States of America. Kamala Harris has always done the right thing. A champion for voting rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, the rights for women and girls. So Democrats and independents, it's time for us to do the right thing, and that is to elect Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States of America. California, we proudly cast our 482 votes for the next president, Kamala Harris.
No, not California love.
Thank you to everyone who participated in our celebratory roll call. Delegates, please know how critical you are to this process, both now and earlier this month when we conducted our virtual roll call. I am thrilled to reaffirm Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee for President of the United States.
Damn. Jesus Christ.
Pursuant to the convention rules of procedure, Vice President Kamala Harris has been invited to make an acceptance speech, which she will give on Thursday, August 22nd.
Thank you, Leela, for the Cash App. Thank you very much.
Now,
appreciate you.
A special surprise. It's my pleasure to introduce our party's official nominee for President of the United States, live from my home state of Wisconsin, Vice President Kamala Harris.
I'm sorry, are they saying that Kamala's not at the convention that she's from Wisconsin? Oh, they said, oh, y'all will watch. Y'all will, oh, y'all, we getting a twofer. We getting a twofer, y'all. Because you know I love to critique and go in on their repetitive speeches. But look at this suit. This suit fits a little better. All right, let's go. Thank you for the Venmo. Who sent me the Venmo? Mari, thank you for the Venmo. Oh, she's in Milwaukee. Okay. Okay.
And hello to everyone joining us from exciting Chicago.
What the fuck is she laughing at? Ain't shit funny right
The
now.
delegates at the Democratic National Convention, well, they just completed their roll call. And they have nominated Coach Walz and me to be the next vice president.
The Coach
and
Walz
president
thing. She running that into the
United
ground a
States
bit.
of America.
She running that into the ground a little bit. Oh my gosh. Instagram, they going crazy. Instagram, come on over to YouTube. We got the family over on YouTube. I know y'all love y'all Instagram. I'm gonna mute her for a second. I know y'all love Instagram. But come on over to YouTube. It's so much better. You give your comment, I can feature it. Come on, join us over here. We got a community going over here. YouTube. I got about a third of the people on YouTube on Instagram as I have on YouTube. Come on over. Let's do this. Let's settle in.
Opportunity of optimism and faith. So to everyone in Chicago and across America, thank you.
I don't know. Maybe they're streaming live. I don't know. Anybody know? Are they streaming live? Come on
and
over
you're going to
YouTube,
hear
y'all.
from our wonderful second gentleman
like
shortly. I'll
like the
see you
video
in 2 days, Chicago.
You know what? I agree with you. Because this Coach Walz shit is kind of corny. It's kind of corny. At this point.
Please welcome TV personality, loud and proud Latina, Ana Navarro.
Oh, bitch. Let me talk about Ana Navarro. Republican. She been hitting that O. And that's okay. Because I'm all about it.
Buenas noches, Chicago.
Oh, here she goes. This woman, let's remind everybody that she was a staunch Republican.
Tell me, are you excited?
Before Trump. But that's why they're bringing her on.
Wow.
Because
what energy. What a
they're
moment.
bringing her on.
I have to tell you, I will never stop.
They want to show more people who are converting to the other side.
This country at the age of 8. Thank you for inviting me to be here.
This is a tactic. Because they want to show as many former Republicans or Republicans.
Welcome to the second night of the Democratic National Convention. Let me tell you about the Kamala Harris I know. She is legitimately a joyful, optimistic leader. She cares about policy, yes, but she also cares about people and how that policy affects real people, not just the members of Mar-a-Lago.
Katie, bring your ass over to YouTube, please.
Else?
I'm talking to you,
Kamala
Katie.
Harris, she likes dogs. And my dog, Cha-Cha, likes her.
Why are we talking about
dogs? Are good judges of character. So are cats.
Totally unserious.
We cannot elect a president who does not like dogs or hangs around with people who shoot them. Now, let's be serious.
Yes, let's be serious.
And his minions call Kamala a communist. I know communism.
We would love her if she was.
I fled communism from Nicaragua when I was 8 years old.
Oh.
I don't take it lightly.
Oh, you're
And let me tell you what communist dictators do. And it's never just for one day.
Okay.
They attack the free press. They call them the enemy of the people. like Ortega does in Nicaragua.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna.
They put their unqualified relatives in cushy government jobs
If she
so
was
they can
about
get rich
collectivism,
of their positions, like the Castros do in Cuba.
we
And they
cannot
refuse
listen
to
a
accept
Republican
legitimate
Latina
elections
who
when
is
they lose
essentially a
and call for
Marielito.
violence
Look
to
it up.
stay in
Somebody in the
power,
chat that's
like Maduro is
Espanol,
doing
type
right
in
now
Marielito
in
so other people
Venezuela.
Go and look it up.
Now you tell
She's
me
essentially
something.
a Marielito. She is a Republican.
Do any of
She's
those
one
things
of the 29%
sound
of
familiar?
Latinos that voted for Trump. That's
Is
the
there
kind of
anybody
Republican
running for president who reminds you of
Trump.
that?
So now she's talking about that.
And
But
I know
this
one
woman
thing, it's
who is
not Kamala
about
Harris.
that progressive
That
revolutionary
is not
life,
the American,
okay?
the
Make it
America
very
we
clear.
love. It's not the land of
I'm not a
freedom
fan of
we
Anna
treasure.
Navarro, and I
Last
think
night,
she's a
we
grifter in
heard
some
President
ways,
Biden
okay?
say that he loves his job, but he loves his country more. Every American needs to love our country more. Every American has the duty
That
to
Red
put
Scare
our
shit,
country
listen.
first.
The Red
Country
Scare
first
shit,
before
like
party.
I said, if you
Country
follow me on
first
Threads, I said
before
it dates back
political
to
ambition.
1919, the
Country
Red Summer of
first before
1919,
habit.
when
And
our
in this
black,
election,
500,000
putting country
black
first
men were sent
means
to
one
fight
thing
in
and
World
one
War
thing
I.
only:
When they came back,
voting for Kamala
African
Harris.
Americans were attacking us in over 26 cities in the United States
And that,
because they wanted
that
the
is
black
what this
men
night
to
is about.
remember who they
That is
were
what we're
and
going
not
to
bring
talk
back any
about
Bolshevik
tonight. So
revolutionary
you know what?
nonsense.
Let's
And
get
so they
it
went
started.
and they killed
Let's get this
hundreds of
fiesta
black people
going.
and injured tens of thousands in 26 cities across the United States. And that's where the Red Scare, as a
The ayes are 50, the nays are 50.
is,
The
you know,
Senate
why-
being
where that
equally
comes from.
divided,
This is
the
over
Vice
100
President votes in the
years
affirmative,
ago.
and the nomination is confirmed.
It is effective. You're absolutely
And
right.
the concurrent
It is
resolution
effective.
as amended
Because
is adopted.
Motherfuckers don't read. 2, motherfuckers are ignorant. 3, motherfuckers believe anything
The
that they
Vice
say when
President
it comes
votes
from a
in the
charismatic
affirmative,
individual.
and the motion to proceed is agreed to.
Just so y'all know, I ain't lying to you.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50.
Because they want to
The Senate
show how
being equally
Republicans
divided,
can cross
the
over.
Vice President
And even
votes
if you
in
are
the
a
affirmative,
Republican,
and the
you're
bill
willing
as
to vote
amended
against
is passed.
Trump. And that's what they want. That's why they
It is my honor to present the Golden Gavel to Vice President Harris, 32 tie-breaking votes.
Please welcome Senate Majority Leader and New York Senator Chuck Schumer.
Oh, come on. All right, y'all can watch the. Oh no! Is he coming out dancing? What the fuck you gotta dance for?
Everybody, wasn't that a great roll call?
New York is tapping.
Now just let me hear you if you're ready for President Kamala Harris. Friends, we're here to talk about one thing: tomorrow, and building a better tomorrow for all Americans. This November, we can choose a brighter, a fairer, a freer future,
just let him talk.
or
We'll let him talk.
we can relive the dark night of Trump's American carnage. Only one candidate will move America forward: Kamala Harris. Vice President Harris has been the best partner Senate Democrats could ever have asked for. Under her and President Biden's leadership, Senate Democrats lowered prescription drug prices and created millions of good-paying American jobs. I worked with Kamala Harris when she was Senator Harris. I saw a leader who was fearless, who stood up for middle-class families like the one she was raised in, who focused on things that really mattered: helping parents raise their kids, safe neighborhoods, safe schools, and building an opportunity
I just want to remind everybody that she wants to offer people $6,000 to have babies. $6,000 to everyone who has a newborn, which is social engineering, and I could make the connection to eugenics. That's okay. $6,000 per baby. That is some fucking scary shit, y'all.
Of the United States. Now, my friends, 2 years ago, the naysayers said Senate Democrats stood no chance in the midterms. I told them, just you wait. We're going to keep the Senate and maybe pick up a seat or two. And that's exactly what happened. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my good friends at this convention, I am telling all of you now, we're going to hold the Senate again, and we're poised to pick up seats.
Are we? So somebody asked before if he was
Democratic majority to create good paying jobs and
down
lower
ballot
costs,
voting. He might.
to defend a woman's right to choose.
Oh, here we go.
To deliver for communities back home. Our senators are doing it, like Jackie Rosen, delivering high-speed rail for Nevada.
I'm here for all of you. Like, this is why we're here. We build community. We talk about it.
Montana. And Bobby Casey and Sherrod Brown and Tammy Baldwin and Martin Heinrich fixing bridges in Pennsylvania and Ohio and Wisconsin and New Mexico. We also have amazing candidates. Ruben Gallego, Angela Alsobrooks, Andy Kim, Alyssa Slotkin, Lisa Blunt, Rochester, Colin Allred, Debbie Mucarsel Powell. And folks, listen to this. More than half of our candidates are candidates of color. We're making the Senate look like America. Now let's compare that with Senate Republicans. Senate Republicans pretend to care about middle-class families.
So did the Democrats.
But they voted no on expanding the child tax credit, and J.D. Vance didn't even show up to vote.
He was getting his eyes done.
Senate Republicans pretend to care about the border, but they voted no on the strongest border bill in a decade.
Nothing. If you are not paying me money, I owe you nothing. So if you happen to jump across this, that's cool. Otherwise, fuck you. Bye.
No to birth control.
What the fuck?
That is just a taste of their extreme agenda. Is that what we want for America? Do we want a Republican Senate that assaults reproductive freedoms? Do we want a Republican Senate that cuts taxes for the rich, rigs the game for big oil and big pharma?
We all do that too, though.
Well, folks, the choice is ours.
The Democrats do that too.
Now, let me close.
Don't think that they don't.
Let me close on a personal note.
No, we don't care about your personal note.
As
Fuck
the
you.
highest ranking Jewish elected official in American history.
Here we go.
I want my grandkids and all grandkids to never, never face discrimination because of who they are.
Free Palestine.
But Donald Trump, this is a guy who peddles anti-Semitic stereotypes.
Free the Sudanese, free the Congolese.
He even invited a white supremacist to Mar-a-Lago.
I know the fuck you ain't talking about no white supremacy.
And unfortunately,
I know you ain't talking about no white
prejudice
supremacy.
goes in all directions.
Oh, the call is coming from inside the motherfucking Democratic House.
A Muslim ban as president. Tonight, folks, I am wearing this blue square to stand up to anti-Semitism, to stand up to all hate.
Can you stand up to anti-blackness?
Our children, our grandchildren, no
Ashe.
matter their race, no matter
Free Palestine,
their
free
gender
Sudan,
or
free the
family,
Congo. I know I got the right
deserve
people in this
better
chat.
than
I
Donald
do.
Trump's American carnage.
I know I do.
So, Are you ready to make sure Donald Trump never, ever gets near the White House again?
Please understand, this is not a democracy. You asked a question, you asked a fucking stupid question, and this is the only final response I'm giving to you because you wanted attention. I'm sorry your life is so goddamn miserable that you feel the need to come in here and talk shit. Well, fuck you. That's who I am. Straight up from New York, like Chuck Schumer. Fuck you and everything that you stand for. We in here to talk about the railroad. Go eat some ass and touch some grass. Of course they did. It's America's stepchild. Netanyahu is America's step tyrant, step dictator. That's our step genocidal maniac, okay? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? The insulin thing again, that's the only drug they were able to change. Okay, we get it. How many people need insulin? You said that. You're still in negotiations with Medicaid. I want people to understand that. No, you won't. Let me tell you, no, you won't. You know why this is a problem?
Their hard-earned income.
If 1/3
we will provide
of
$6,000 in
Americans
tax relief to
qualify
families during the
for the
first year of a child's
EITC,
life. Now is
that's
the
a sign
time
of
to
a
chart
really
a
bad
new
economy.
way forward. I will fight to give money back to working and middle-class Americans. Increase the security
Working and middle class. Remember what I said. They don't ever talk about you guys becoming wealthy.
For working and
The
middle-class
Democrats are
Americans.
never going to push this idea of you all building wealth and getting wealthy. You're going to stay right in that middle and working.
Please welcome Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders.
He's real. Oh, here come Bernie, y'all. Here come Bernie. Oh, this is a dumbass.
Thank you.
Put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter.
Thank you.
I'm tired of this shit.
My fellow Americans, it is an honor. It is an honor
the show
to
is
be
called
with
Political
you
Theater
tonight
with Dr. T. This is all
because
political
we're
theater.
laying the groundwork
Bernie
for
looks like he
Kamala
lost a little
Harris
weight.
to become our next president. And let me tell you why that is so important. I want you all to remember where we were 3.5 years ago. We were in the midst of the worst public health crisis in 100 years and the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression.
You know, 2008, 2009 was pretty bad.
Americans were dying every day, and our hospitals were overwhelmed with COVID patients.
I kicked somebody out the chat. Listen,
all across the country,
we have built.
Businesses were shutting down.
You're not going to deal with that.
Unemployment was soaring. Workers were losing their health insurance.
We are here for the truth.
Schools were closing. State
like Malcolm
and
X
city
said, and I
budgets
say this all the time,
were running out of money.
I don't care who tells it.
People were being evicted from their homes. Children in America were going hungry.
They still are.
That was the reality the Biden-Harris administration faced as they entered the Oval Office.
And they still are going hungry.
A nation suffering, a nation frightened, and people looking to their government for support. And within 2 months of taking office, our government did respond. We passed the American Rescue Plan, which provided $1,400 for every man, woman, and child in the working class.
Every day.
We extended and expanded benefits for the unemployed. We provided emergency assistance for small businesses to stay open.
We got to keep with the schedule. We'll see who's coming up.
We guaranteed health care coverage to tens of millions of Americans through one of the largest expansions of Medicaid in history.
That's true. That's true. One of the.
We provided rent relief and mortgage assistance, which prevented tenants and homeowners from being evicted. We established emergency food programs for hungry children and the elderly, and protected the pensions of millions of union workers and retirees from being slashed by up to 65%.
All right. Let's see.
Oh, and by the way, we cut childhood poverty by over 40% through an expanded child tax credit.
We got a while before Michelle comes on.
Thank
Michelle's
you, President
on about
Biden.
9:45, y'all. So
thank you, Vice President Harris.
They
thank you, Democratic Congress.
My estimate, about 20 minutes. So Michelle's not coming on for
now.
a minute.
I say
be here.
all
All right.
of this
We're going to be here.
Not to relive that difficult moment, but to make one simple point. When the political will is there, government can effectively deliver for the people.
All right, I'll be right back, y'all. I'll be right back. Hold on one second. Keep it going, but I'm going to be right back. Literally, seriously, I'll be right back.
And now we need to summon that will again, because too many of our fellow Americans are struggling every day to just get by, to put food on the table, to pay the rent, and to get the health care they need. Brothers and sisters, bottom line, we need an economy that works for all of us, not just the billionaire class. My fellow Americans, when 60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck, the top 1% have never, ever had it so good. And these oligarchs tell us we shouldn't tax the rich. The oligarchs tell us we shouldn't take on price gouging.
I'm so confused.
We shouldn't expand Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision. And we shouldn't increase Social Security benefits for struggling seniors. Well, I've got some bad news for them.
Listen, Bernie looked like he got 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on the banana
That is
peel.
precisely what we are going to do.
Of course not.
And we're going to win this struggle because this is precisely what the American people want from their government. And my friends, at the very top of that to-do list is the need to get big money out of our political process.
I just want everybody to know Kamala can't win without
billionaires
in the
in
political
both
process.
parties
So this is very
should
interesting.
not be able
Very
to buy
interesting.
elections, including primary elections.
Because, okay, so the Bernie Sanders issue
For the sake
is one
of our
him
democracy,
talking a really great
we must
game.
overturn the disastrous
a millionaire.
Citizens United Supreme Court
You can't be a
decision.
democratic socialist or represent socialist ideals when you got that much damn money. I'm
And
sorry,
move
you can't.
toward
And
public
that's why a lot of
funding
people are
of
like,
elections.
you sound good, but you don't walk.
And let me
walk.
tell you what else we must do. We need to join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee health care to all people as a human right, not a privilege.
Yes, healthcare should be affordable and accessible. Healthcare should be provided to
We need to raise the minimum wage to a living wage.
Bernie said, I'm going to just talk my shit. Fuck your DNC. I'm talking my shit.
So that workers can organize in unions and gain the decent pay and benefits they deserve. We need to strengthen
Bernie
public
said, I don't give
education.
a fuck about this conference. I'm going to talk to y'all my
Raise
shit. I
teacher
know that's
salaries.
right. I know that's right.
And make sure that every American, regardless of income, receives the higher education he or she needs.
Bernie don't give a damn.
We
He said,
need
you know
to
what?
take on Big Pharma and cut our prescription drug costs in half so that we no longer pay any more than other countries. Joe and Kamala made sure that no senior in America pays over $35 a month for insulin.
I don't ever
We
want
need
hear
to
this
make
damn
sure
$35
that
for
reality is
insulin
true for
again.
every American.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That's the one thing they got. One thing
I
in
look
4
forward
years.
to working with Kamala and Tim to pass this agenda.
Okay.
And let us be very clear. This is not a radical agenda.
No, it's not a radical agenda.
But let me tell you what a radical agenda is.
No.
And that is
Not an
Trump's
old wealthy white
Project
man.
2025.
2025 is not a radical agenda. It's what they've been doing for
At
the
a
last 4
time of
years.
massive income and wealth inequality, giving more tax breaks to billionaires is radical. Putting forth budgets to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid is radical.
No.
Letting polluters destroy our planet is radical.
No, it's actually not.
And my friends,
Don't use
we
political terms
won't
wrong.
let that happen.
Wow.
Fellow Americans, in
Wow.
the last 3.5 years, working together,
Wow.
we have accomplished more than any government since FDR.
Lyndon B. Johnson's government was
But
right there.
much more remains to be done. We must summon the courage to stand up to wealth and power.
Wow.
And deliver justice for people at home and abroad.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm sorry.
Abroad.
What?
We must end this horrific war in Gaza.
Because they know people don't read anymore. So they can say whatever they want.
Bring home the hostages and demand an immediate ceasefire.
Permanent. Permanent. Why can't y'all say permanent?
At home right here, we must take on Big Pharma, Big Oil, big ag, big tech.
Is he gonna say big real estate?
And all the other corporate monopolists whose greed is denying progress.
Because you're making money in real estate.
On November 5th, let us elect Kamala Harris as our president, and let us go forward to create the nation we know we can become. Thank you all very much.
Raise him up, right? On the side. Nothing for lunches in the baby. What's that job? What's that baby? Raise him, right? Raise him, right?
Please welcome Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker.
So we know that. We're doing. You might say something funny. Let's watch.
Fellow Democrats, welcome to Chicago.
Chicago was founded by a black man.
We're a great American city in a proud blue state. Our patriotism was formed in frost and in fire, and in the steel we forged to survive both. Our love of country has been a tapestry of faith that weaves from Abraham Lincoln reuniting a house divided to Barack Obama declaring blue states and red states make one United States.
You mean the Abraham Lincoln that was like, get your asses back to Africa?
Now, Illinois' presidential pedigree is unmatched. And given that Vice President Kamala
are we
Harris
talking about the same Abraham Lincoln who said that white and black cannot get along and they cannot coexist?
When I say we claim her too. Now, one president we will never claim is the con artist the Republicans nominated in Milwaukee last month. Donald Trump once called Chicago embarrassing. To quote a great Chicagoan who won 6 world championships on these very grounds, we take that personally.
Are we talking about Michael Jordan?
I had to govern for 2 years while Trump was president. Let me tell you what's embarrassing.
You know what?
In Illinois, we passed a massive bill to fix our roads and bridges. When Donald Trump proposed his own plan, he turned right around and called it stupid. We eliminated the grocery tax. Donald hasn't been in a grocery store since his first bankruptcy.
Listen, if I told you
Illinois invested in clean energy and the jobs it brings. Donald claimed that windmills in the ocean made the whales a little batty. During COVID, we supported small businesses and jobs.
About invasive cats.
And Donald told us to inject bleach.
I agree. He does look like Oliver Platt.
Donald Trump thinks that we should trust him on the economy because he claims to be very rich. But take it from an actual billionaire.
You know what? Tiffany's about to kick you out.
Trump is rich in only one thing: stupidity. Now, I meet with business leaders all the time, and there's one universal thing they all need: people. They need more workers to fill all the jobs they have. But the anti-freedom, anti-family policies of MAGA Republicans are driving workers away. Here's the thing. Americans don't want to be forced to drive 100 miles to deliver a baby because a draconian abortion law shut down the maternity ward.
Ooh, that's good.
Americans want the hope of giving birth through IVF, not the fear that it might be taken away.
Oh, wow.
Americans with LGBTQ kids don't want them facing discrimination at school because the state sanctioned it.
Yeah, oh wow, he's speaking. He's spitting. He's spitting.
Americans
DeVito
want to go to their neighborhood grocery store and not have to worry about some random guy open carrying an AR-15. Americans don't want their kids to be taught in history class that slavery was a jobs program. And if Americans are black or brown, they want to get promoted at work without being derided as a DEI hire for the sin of being successful while not white.
Let me find out. Let me find out.
Let's be clear.
It's
not woke that limits economic growth. It's weird.
Oh, I want to go into that thing.
And these guys aren't just weird, they're dangerous. Democrats are for lower taxes and higher wages, less inflation and more business growth. We just think it's wrong to craft those policies for Elon Musk and not for everyday working people.
Oh. If we throw in a free
that includes
Palestine,
a
we might
secure
get a donation.
retirement and good health care. We think the government should help you prosper, not police who you're sleeping with.
Wow,
more than anything, Democrats want economic policies that are kind, not cruel. But Trump chooses cruelty every time.
Yeah.
After all, everything he's achieved in his own life has been by hurting someone else. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, well, they've spent their lives lifting people up, not pushing them down. They know that a White House that leads with kindness looks at someone who is struggling and sees not what they might cost society, but what they might create for it. Americans want policies that give every American a chance to make it to the middle class. They want to grow small businesses, and Democrats want to cut taxes for everyday people. More than anything, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz want a country where we can all live with a little serenity.
I want
the serenity that comes with a balanced checkbook, an affordable grocery bill, and a housing market that has room for everyone.
Yes.
And if there's one thing I know about Donald Trump, he's not bringing anyone any kind of serenity.
No, that's also true.
We have a choice, America, between the man who left our country a total mess and the woman who has spent 4 years cleaning it up.
He's a great speaker. Charismatic, hard-hitting point, incisive.
And I think it's time we stop expecting women to clean up messes without the authority and the title to match the job. Vice President was a good title for Kamala Harris, but you know an even better one? President of the United States of America. Let's go get him!
Why don't we have this guy running for vice president? Why did he get picked?
Please welcome former chair and CEO of American Express and current chair and managing director of General Catalyst, Ken Chenault.
Listen. All right, let's see what Brother Ken got to say.
My fellow Americans, for 17 years, I ran American Express, one of the greatest companies in this country.
Is it?
America has thousands of great companies, more than any other nation in the world. And that's not by accident. The United States is the best place in the world to do business.
No, it's not.
Because of the values on which our country was built.
Welcome, girl. Come on in.
Democracy.
Come on in.
The rule of law, free and fair elections, the peaceful transfer of power. As a business leader, I have seen firsthand why democracy is so important. Democracy provides.
I'm sorry, this is when I remind everybody we do not have a democracy.
Our economy depends.
Very important.
Character and values matter. In business, nothing is more important than trust. In America, we have to trust our president will protect democracy. We have to be certain they'll follow the law and serve the nation.
That was a greaseball union guy, okay?
Business requires stability and certainty that our democracy will endure. Our economy and democracy are tightly linked. Both only grow stronger when Americans, despite our differences, are willing to work together. At this moment, when our politics pits one group against another, that's what's remarkable about Kamala Harris.
That's all I'm
saying. She is for all Americans. She understands it's possible, in fact, necessary for a president to be both pro-business and pro-worker.
No.
Kamala Harris understands that government must work in partnership with the business community. She knows that a market-based economy needs a strong and effective government. Kamala Harris understands that we need to help entrepreneurs turn good ideas into thriving companies. That we can create good-paying jobs by helping manufacturers expand. Kamala Harris believes in growing the economic pie for the benefit of current and future generations. Unlike her opponent, she knows the way not to build an advanced economy.
Y'all
broad
want to do a
tariff
drinking game
that would
on the
only
last
raise
night?
prices, hurt consumers and businesses,
We'll all die.
and cost jobs.
But we'll die.
She knows the way not to do it is to give
It'll be
people
collective
like me
choice.
a tax cut when that money should be invested to grow the middle class.
Maybe I'll make one tomorrow.
If you want to lead, you have to be willing to serve. Kamala Harris's vision for the economy serves us all. She has demonstrated throughout her career that she wants to serve all people and wants all Americans to have the opportunity to work to achieve their own share of the American dream. Our economy goes up and down, but the reason America is the strongest nation in the world is because of her commitment to something bigger than ourselves.
We don't like the
Our
other guy.
commitment
Somebody go
to
find
each
out.
other,
Is he Italian?
to democracy.
Is he Polak? What is he?
That's
What is the
what
man?
this
He
election
got to
is
be
about. It's more than a
Chicago is
choice
deep in,
between two
Eastern
parties or
European
sets of
immigration.
policies. It's a choice about who we're going to be as a country. In his words and actions, Kamala Harris's opponent has shown us that he does not believe in our democratic values, and he will seek only to serve himself and his desire for vindication and vengeance. Kamala Harris will face the facts. She will navigate this country, the greatest country in the world, through the inevitable challenges, while also leading with the hope and values that America
Y'all hear okay?
was founded
You can
on.
hear? I want to make sure
Kamala
the
Harris
hear them and me.
understands that the role of a leader is to instill hope, to repudiate the merchants of fear, and focus on ensuring that the best days are ahead of us. She believes in America, its principles, the hopes and dreams of our people, and the promise of our future. That is why I believe Kamala Harris should be the next president of the United States of America. God bless America.
Okay, so they had to do that because they need to show that she's good for business, right? All of this identity shit, grassroots shit, whatever. They need to show that she's got a business.
Repeal Obama.
That she can bring
Donald Trump over the weekend again threatened to repeal Obamacare.
So it's interesting
This
that
would
they
lead
had a
to
brother,
Americans
black
having
man,
their health
go and
insurance
talk about the
taken
business
away.
There are about 19 million people with coverage
does
through
have to answer
Medicaid expansion, another 16 million enrolled through the ACA's health insurance marketplaces, and we'd probably be talking about many millions of people becoming uninsured.
Biggest worries, losing the safety net of pre-existing conditions coverage. What happens if you lose this insurance?
Our son would die.
What makes you think this isn't just a hollow threat?
This is one of the few campaign promises that he actually tried very hard to keep. So we better believe him when he says he's coming after this.
Even if you have insurance from your employer, you will be affected because your premiums would be going up.
We're looking at a lot of people who could lose their health
A
insurance.
lot of white people back to back to back. Y'all notice that?
Please welcome New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Okay. So now we've got Grisham. Okay. And she's the last person before the keynotes start, okay, y'all? So just letting you know.
evening,
They're actually
America.
pretty good. They're on time.
I'm Michelle
That's good.
Lujan
Wow.
Grisham, governor of the great state of New Mexico.
Okay.
And in my state,
You only
we
need
like things
47,000 votes to
spicy,
be governor. in
a little
New
chili
Mexico.
on everything, a little kick in our campaigns. And let me tell you, we are feeling en fuego right now.
We are feeling in fuego right
We
now.
are fired up to elect Kamala Harris president
Let us know in
of
the
the
chat if you're
United
feeling in
States.
fuego.
This
Nobody
election
living
is
in
about
Mexico.
protecting our democracy and securing our freedoms, including the right to affordable, quality health care. Now, this issue is personal to Vice President Harris, whose mom passed away after a battle with colon cancer. And it's personal to me.
I'm
At
so
2
scared
years
of booty
old,
cancer.
my sister was diagnosed with a tumor
My
that
doctor's
was
like, you gotta
incurable
send us a sample.
and made her
I'm like, I'm so scared of
uninsurable
booty cancer.
by the time
I
she
don't
was
want it.
3.
I don't want it.
And it's personal to
I'll take- I feel
Americans
like I'll take any
across
other
the
kind of
country
cancer except for booty.
who know what it's like when someone they love gets sick. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance want to dismantle our healthcare system, repeal the Affordable Care Act, and eliminate protections for pre-existing conditions.
Just a reminder that Trump said he was going to
Either
repeal the
these
Affordable Care
guys
Act last time
don't
and he
get
didn't do
it,
it.
or they just don't care. You know who gets it? Kamala Harris gets it, and she cares.
That's okay. Well, they say she gets it. We gotta trust and believe that she.
As Attorney General, she took on drug companies that jacked up prices and hospitals that overcharged patients. And when Republicans tried to kill the Affordable Care Act, she stood up in the Senate, voting not just no, but hell no. And Kamala Harris hasn't just stopped Republicans from making our healthcare system worse.
Será en fuego.
She fights every day to make it better. And I know, I spent 20
I'm so
years
scared of booty
working to get
cancer.
Medicare
I
the
feel like I don't
ability
even
to
wanna know. If I got
negotiate
just let me
lower
get it,
drug
and
prices.
then I just die on
As
it.
Vice
I
President,
don't want to know that.
Kamala Harris delivered it.
Listen,
You know what Donald Trump
Catherine
delivered?
is like, what
Junk
diet
plans, higher premiums,
Catherine's
and
like-
abortion bans.
Let's martyr ourselves for freedom.
And if you don't think a second term
I'm
would
not
be
alone.
worse,
I'm not
then
alone.
I've got a box of
I'm so
Trump
scared of booty
steaks
cancer
to
now.
sell you.
So
We have
Yes,
not just
so she's boring, so we'll address this issue. Okay. So these speeches, when they do this, first of all, remember all of these conventions are just really large scale rallies. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance. Again, each of these conventions spends millions of dollars going to the American people, just so you all understand that. And that's why, again, I call this political theater, this whole circus. This money goes directly to the American people and feed children and feed people that, cannot feed themselves, right? But whatever. It is meant for some undecided people. Right now, like in Michigan, for example, 1 out of 5 voted uncommitted in their primary. So that is actually pretty scary. Michigan is a must-win state. So when 20% of the population is voted uncommitted, that's a problem. So they're trying to convince people, they're trying to bring people back to their side and say, hey, just rock with us or whatever. But there's people who are holding out, and it's like, if you don't say these things that I want to hear from you, then it's the same old, and we don't have time for it. Okay?
I love you too.
Why is she back?
Y en español, los quiero.
Why is she back?
So,
oh, bien, español, los quiero. Shut the fuck up. Stop pandering. We don't know. I want to do something about this cross panel that has the little keyhole at the bottom. I want her stylist, whoever just helped her in the background, to pull that up a little bit. Oh, okay. Anyway.
Moments of great sadness and pain in our country.
I don't like
some will be natural
bad.
disasters. Some will be man-made disasters. We need a president who can not only be commander-in-chief, but also consoler-in-chief. We need a president with empathy, capable of lifting us up when we are down. We need a president who is capable of holding us in a big, great hug when we need it. That is Kamala Harris.
I agree.
Donald Trump.
Why is she still on the stage?
Donald Trump is only capable of holding 2 things, a grudge and a golf club.
You really think she be hitting with her zinger? And her zingers are just not funny. I don't like her. I don't like her. I don't trust her, and I don't like her.
I remember when Kamala was first running for district attorney and people were like, oh, I don't know if she's tough enough. And I just had to laugh because I'm like, you don't know my sister.
So they've done different clips with their sister? Because I know last night we had
Kamala had
been
been
we get the fighter.
Hard and tough prosecutor.
Now we get
in Alameda County, prosecuting men who were pimping young girls.
We found out in the Protector that that Kamala beat people up around her. So now we get to hear,
and consequences for those actions.
One of the cases that she had early in her career was where a man had scalped his girlfriend, and she ended up getting a conviction, getting justice for that woman.
She came to San Francisco to protect victims, and she was elected to be district attorney of San Francisco. Kamala knew that we needed to be smart on crime, and if no one else was going to do it, that she was going to do it.
If I'm going to keep my promise to you to keep you safe, I better talk with you about what I'm doing in terms of crime prevention. Investing in people coming out of prisons is the smart thing to do for law enforcement. Forget that it's just the right thing to do.
That was a young Kamala Harris. She's only gotten more fierce. I've never seen her back down from a fight, and when she fights, she wins.
When Kamala became Attorney General, she wanted to protect people, but also to fundamentally pursue justice.
Being smart on crime starts with being tough on violent crime.
From a statewide perspective, I think we were concerned about the rise of gang violence.
In San Joaquin County, we saw this tremendous change in our community, and it hit us like a wave. We saw an increase in human trafficking, narcotics, and guns.
Let it be clear to anyone who would menace this state with violence, to those who prey on the weak and the vulnerable, justice will be swift and certain in the state of California.
She was always hunting the kingpins, but we didn't have partnerships with DOJ or FBI.
It's actually giving someone who used the 90s bill to effectively put a lot of people away. And that's okay, that's she decided to become a prosecutor. And it's a choice. You could be a public defender and entertainment lawyer, real estate lawyer. I mean, you patent law, you do tax law. So many kinds of law you can do, civil rights law. She chose to become a prosecutor. And I mean, she got to stand on business. She got to stand on business.
Hard is not an excuse. Making excuses is a failure to not only take responsibility, but to take action. If you have the will, the desire, the passion, the commitment, there is no challenge that is insurmountable.
All right, we've got Angela Alsobrooks, John Giles, Tammy Duckworth, Doug.
Please welcome the
Imhoff,
Democratic nominee for Senate in Maryland, Angela Alsobrooks.
Oh, we're bringing a sister out. Okay.
Good evening, America. And hello, Maryland. People like me. Thank
You got some baby hairs late.
People like me.
Come on, sis. You better lay them down.
Stories like mine don't usually make it to the United States Senate.
She's running for Senate.
But they should.
Maryland.
I'm the proud granddaughter of a housekeeper, Sarah Daisy,
middle class,
who raised her 3 children in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
It was her dream to work in government to help people.
That's so press.
That meant taking a typing test.
Okay.
But she didn't know how to type.
I like her jackets.
And she couldn't afford a typewriter. So she put a white piece of paper on the refrigerator and drew a keyboard on it. And every night she stood in front of that refrigerator and taught herself to type. She took the test, passed it, and got the job she dreamed of. I am her legacy.
I just want to know she's a little bit
of Maryland.
Well, she is.
I've always been inspired by women like my grandmother, women who imagine a better future and then have the grit to make it a reality. One of those women.
Y'all got to get out and vote. Somebody has to replace Kamala, right? You know what I mean?
That woman is Kamala Harris.
Filling all them gaps. People who might be getting appointed for presidential.
Let me tell you, about the Kamala I've known for 14 years. I first heard about her in 2009 when I was running for state's attorney in Prince George's County, Maryland.
It's serious.
I read a story in Essence magazine about a district attorney in San Francisco using new ideas to keep her community safe. Few had a better record prosecuting violent crime.
So, okay. Actually, what she say. So again, we are rolling out people who are softening her role as a prosecutor because they know that this is a sore point for her. This is a sore point where a lot of people are not happy, like myself. Who's a cop and she's a top cop. And so what they're trying to do is say that the work she was doing was for the benefit of communities, the benefit for Americans at large, or what have you. The problem is, like, I think somebody said in the chat, when you start digging into her being a prosecutor and focusing on these so-called positive things, you're going to start to uncover the negative things, and those things are going to surface. And so that's where things get tricky. But as many people as they can, they're going to try to soften this idea of her as a prosecutor and try to move her away because she has a lot of opposition from abolitionists like me.
She helped me bring back on track to Maryland. And wouldn't you know it, crime went down and economic growth went up. Back on track is now a national model. Now, Donald Trump says if Kamala Harris is elected, tough guys will treat her like a play toy. Do you know who else thought that? The drug cartels she busted, the big oil companies she made pay for polluting, the big banks that she made pay $20 billion to homeowners they ripped off. Getting justice for others isn't a path.
What did y'all have for dinner tonight? I'm actually way more interested in that. Put in the chat what you had for dinner. That's actually interesting to me.
Come November, with your help, she'll keep one out of the Oval Office. Ever since Donald Trump rode down that ridiculous escalator, we as a nation have felt trapped. Every national decision has been made in reaction to this one man and his extremist MAGA movement. We are still frozen by the fear that Donald Trump might once again come to power.
The peanut butter
and it's not just our politics that have been trapped, it's our imagination.
It's coming soon.
And then Kamala came
that sounds
along.
really good.
Kamala has reminded us that we don't need to fear
I don't know. I gotta look
anything.
At what FEMA is.
Not the future, and certainly not
That's the way
that
to live.
man.
Right there.
This
the way to
is
live.
our moment to leave Donald Trump where he belongs, in America's past.
It's better than whatever she's saying right now.
We stand with Kamala Harris because we as a country are not going back.
Real quick, because I know I'm going to go in Michelle talk. Somebody was asking me the other day, why do I seem like I'm harsher on Black women? And I'm not harsher on Black women. The people I'm the harshest on are white women. But I have a cultural expectation of Black women that we will be radical, that we will be, the ones trying to actually bring about radical change, because we have endured some of the grossest, violations of our humanity. So you would think that we would be the ones to be like, all this can work for everyone else, it does not work for us, and that we would be the ones.
My father has often
stand
said
up
to me,
and fight.
Your
right?
faith is stronger
we often
than your
don't.
fears.
And so for me,
tonight,
those are the people
our
I call
faith
carpet.
is stronger than our fears.
White men
Faith
to be who
in the
they
promise of America.
Cisgender white men, I
Faith
expect them to be who
in
they
the
are.
American
I
idea,
don't give a damn.
in the American
I
values that
expect
we share.
Black men to be
Faith
who they
that
are.
we, the
We'll talk
people,
about the race
can
thing, but
choose
Black
a new
men,
leader,
heterosexual
a better
men,
future
they're
for
still the
the
ones willing to
people.
meet with
Faith
white supremacists will be. I
that as
I
dark
expect them.
as our days
do
and
not
challenges have
Black
sometimes
women
felt,
to
it's always
here for the
darkest before
Okay?
the dawn.
I just
We know
Okay.
that we can endure for a night because joy cometh in the morning.
actually hate Oprah.
Morning
Without Oprah.
is coming.
On my plate, I will move.
Morning
I don't care.
is coming. And that joy will be led by Kamala Harris. Thank you so much.
Now we're talking about joy and food. Oh, I know the policy. $35 in $6,000 for me.
Please welcome Mesa, Arizona Mayor John Giles.
Especially when we can go to Mexico and get the shit for like a tenth of the price. I don't know about y'all, but I go to Mexico to stock up on benefits, and I spend like a tenth of what I would spend here.
So I feel a little out of place tonight.
But I feel more at home here than in today's Republican Party. The grand old party has been kidnapped by extremists and devolved into a cult, the cult of Donald Trump. Trump doesn't know the first thing about public service. Like a child, he acts purely out of self-interest.
Many people don't know anything.
We all need an adult in the White House, and we've seen what happens when we don't have one. Trump made a lot of lofty promises, unlimited economic growth, American manufacturing reborn, a secure border. Turns out Donald Trump was all talk. He wanted our votes.
All right, while he's talking, if you're coming in on Instagram, I'm seeing a lot of people coming in on Instagram. Please come join us over on YouTube. We've got almost 60 people in the chat right now. We're having a good time going through this. Please come join us over here, youtube.com. At Feminista Jones, click the live tab. You'll see right there. Join us and you can come and join the comments, join the conversation. We are building community over here, talking about this through the smoke and mirrors. We're talking about the theater and the DN circus. Okay, the DNC, the DN circus. Join us over here, and we're happy to have you.
I have an urgent message for the majority of Americans who, like me, are in the political middle. John McCain's Republican Party is gone, and we don't owe a damn thing to what's been left behind. So let's turn the page.
We don't have to be.
Let's put
we choose
country
to be.
first.
At this point in
Let's put
2024,
adults in the room where our country deserves.
Go up to the empire are choosing to take one that's savior role and be their mascot to our own detriment. And that's okay. That's okay. You know what? Some people want to do it. God told them to. Whatever situation is, cool.
It's the most important thing in my life.
For decades, Americans have turned to the miracle of IVF treatments.
Oh, y'all messy.
She felt like a dream come
true.
The fact that she was able to build a family, that's why I do what I do. Without IVF, I don't know how this would have been possible.
IVF treatment gives many patients an opportunity to have a family. I love that I get to help people every day become parents.
But a party that pretends to be pro-family wants to put a stop to this.
This is a nothing burger, okay? I'm sorry, but the number of people that use IVF, this is nothing. This is not something that you need to focus on. This is not something that they need to be really getting into this conversation. You're only saying it because of the Trump stuff, but like people that get IVF, right? So I don't think that this is what you need to be focusing on. They're focusing so much on pregnancy and childbearing because they understand that our birth rate is abysmal and they want to pay people $6,000 to have a baby. Okay? I need you all to see this shit for what it fucking is.
Decisions about what is right for them, for this generation and generations to come.
Please welcome Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth.
I think you're right, because getting IVF happened. All right, here comes Tammy Duckworth. That's some tiny ass. You can't rely on Tammy Duckworth. I don't even know why she.
Hello, Chicago. Hello, Chicago. You know,
I love that they do have a disabled person speaking, you know, because
and
I don't mean to say visibly disabled.
I went to war
right?
to protect America's rights and freedoms. So I take it personally when a 5-time draft dodging coward like Donald Trump tries to take away.
Just for the record, if they implement the draft, I'm going to try to have my kid dodge it too.
Especially when it concerns my daughters. My girls, gamer girl Abigail and queen of the monkey bars, Miley, are everything to me. But they would never have been born without access to reproductive care.
That's a broad way of saying things.
Because
okay.
After 10 years of struggling with infertility, I was only able to have them through the miracle of IVF. But now,
I'm not trying to be dismissive.
Trump's
Understand me. If you
anti-woman
use
crusade
IVF,
has put other
I'm not trying to be
Americans'
dismissive
right
of you,
to
but
have
you
their
know
own families at risk.
that
Because if they win, Republicans will not stop at banning abortion. They will come for IVF next. They'll prosecute doctors. They will shame and spy on women.
we should be more concerned about them coming after contraception
just
than
look up
IVF.
what happened in
Because they
Alabama
could get rid of
last
IVF
year.
and it still wouldn't affect that many people.
So let me
They're
say
trying to
to
get rid of
every would-be parent,
contraception.
I
Okay, birth
see
control
you.
pills, even possibly
I'm
condoms.
with
That's
you.
what we should be thinking about.
And together, in November, we'll send a message to old Cadet Bone Spurs.
Well, if he has bone spurs, then don't talk about his bone spurs, okay? Like, that's, just let it be what it is.
Stay out of our doctors' offices, and where you're at it, out of the Oval Office too.
I just want to remind everybody that they require us to get vaccines and require kids to get vaccines to go to school. I'm actually a supporter of vaccines, but when you start talking about stay out of our doctor's office, you got to make sure you know what you're saying. It's not just about reproductive health, it's about everything. And as a reminder, Roe v. Wade was about the right to privacy, okay? So the Democrats, in their messaging, it falls off for those of us that.
And on cable news, then vote against legislation that would have actually helped Americans to start families.
Yep. Oh, here we go.
How dare the GOP
families.
endanger the dreams of countless veterans whose combat wounds prevent them from having kids without IVF, punishing our heroes for their willingness to serve.
What? This is a veteran issue now?
Every American deserves the right to be called mommy or daddy without being treated like a criminal.
If they want to, say it. Say it. If they want to, say it.
Kamala Harris believes that.
Man, y'all.
Let's make some history
Y'all.
and elect her in November. God bless America.
Y'all. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to go there. The Democrats are pushing a natalist agenda. We all need to be concerned about that. Okay? Yes, we know the economy is going to tank because of our piss poor birth rate, but the Democrats cannot slide into a natalist agenda. They cannot. That is what the Republicans are doing.
They're his parents, Barb and Mike. They think he walks on water. This is what he wore to his bar mitzvah. And here's him at summer camp. They voted him most athletic, so he says. This is a photo McDonald's used when he was Employee of the Month and hung on our wall for years. My dad is a lawyer.
Let's remember that.
A really good one. My mom called him the crisis guy because he was everyone's first call. My parents split when I was in middle school, and that wasn't easy. That's not easy for any kid.
Does anybody care about what he's saying?
But it
Can I
helped
just
that
mute
my
him for
parents
like
stayed
real quick
friends,
and
and we
talk?
all kept hanging together.
You don't? Okay, cool. It is very confusing, and it is very weird and intentional. Because out of one side of the mouth, they're saying we support abortion for rape. Because remember, they trotted out 3 people last night. One was about rape. One was about something like they trotted out. Oh, I'm about to die. This could have killed me. All this stuff like that. The bottom line is that we want abortion for abortion's sake. Abortion on demand. If you want to have a goddamn abortion, you should be able to have it. I'm actually going to be doing something with Renee Gracie Sherman. She and I are hitting on a call tomorrow because we're going to be talking about this. The Democrats cannot continue to run with that idea, right? And so that's a very conservative, approach to it. And I want to remind you all that they need babies to be born. So they're saying they're going to codify Roe v. Wade, but the Democrats cannot economically afford to make make abortion as accessible because they need more babies to be born, which is why they're offering this $6,000 out the other side of their mouth, y'all. Let's be smart here.
And fiercely protective. I mean, just look at this face. This is my dad, the first second gentleman in the history of this nation. He's found his voice around the issues that matter to him.
You have no choice but to speak up and speak out.
There is an epidemic of hate, including a crisis of anti-Semitism in our country and around the world.
What they are doing on reproductive freedom and freedom in general is just outrageous.
And next, he's going to make history again as the first gentleman.
This narrative,
I can't wait for everyone to get to know why we are
not that important.
He's the glue that keeps this family together.
Oh, thinking about the man.
We might not look like other families in the White House, but we are ready to represent all families in America.
We're mostly white.
Please welcome my dad, the second gentleman of the United States, Doug Emhoff.
All right, let's see what he's saying about his life. Here we go, y'all. Here we go. Okay, Doug is he is right before Michelle Obama. Michelle is next. Go to the bathroom if you need to go refill your drink. Michelle Obama is next. Oh, it's not hard. Nobody gets it.
Thank you.
Nobody gets it.
Thank you, Cole.
We don't know who he is. I thought he was Mayor Kenny.
I guess he didn't want me to give this speech. He just. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello. Thank you.
Right.
Hello to my big, beautiful, blended family up there. I love you so much. Aren't you proud of Cole? Wow. And a special shout out to my mother. I see you. My mother is the only person in the whole world who thinks Kamala is the lucky one for marrying me.
Oh, no.
And to Kamala, who, well, we just saw where she is. She's out on the trail listening to and talking with voters. Honey, I can't wait for you to come back to Chicago because we're having a great time here. I love you so much. I'm so proud of how you're stepping up for all of us. But that's who she is. Wherever she's needed, however she's needed, Kamala rises to the occasion.
I'm sorry, I'm still
stuck. She did it for me and our family. And now that the country needs her, she's showing you what we already know. She's ready to lead.
Oh my God.
She brings both joy and
look at her
toughness
face.
to
This
this
was like,
task. And she will be a great president we will all be proud of. Now, I'm the son of two Brooklynites, Mike and Barb. They've been together almost 70 years. My dad worked in the shoe business in Manhattan, and he moved our family out to New Jersey. Where's New Jersey?
There's a lot I could say about
I see you out there. When I was a little kid. And in a lot of ways, I had a typical Jersey suburban childhood. I biked around the neighborhood. I took the bus to Hebrew school. And I rode to Little League practice in the way back of my coach's wood-paneled station wagon. And if we did well, we got to have a Slurpee after.
He's centering himself in this.
Their garage door open. Wherever you ended up at dinner time, that's the family that fed you. Everyone took care of everyone else. And the guys I grew up with are still my best friends.
This is about him.
The group chat is active every day, and it's probably blowing up right now, guys.
This is
when my dad had to get a new job, we moved across the country to LA.
Oh.
Money was tight. Hey, California. Money was tight, so I worked at McDonald's in high school for some extra cash. Not only was I Employee of the Month, but I still have the frame picture, which you just saw.
What?
And there was a ring, golden arches and all.
Doug is the husband who posts that long Instagram about, I know I done cheated on you 4 times, and I know I wasn't the best, and I wasn't there when our kids were born, but I love you on our 18th wedding anniversary. That's who Doug is.
Through law school. And I got my first job as a lawyer.
He's still talking about himself. He's still talking about himself.
Which is also where I met the guys in my fantasy football league. And a lot has changed in our lives since the early 90s.
And I'm pissed off because she is a black woman who deserves to be publicly loved on. And here comes this white man
after the band,
talking about himself.
I worked hard, and I love being a lawyer.
And talking about how amazing
And by the way, I
she is.
still get to be part of the profession
keeps
by
talking about
teaching
his journey to
students at
becoming a
Georgetown
lawyer.
Law School.
This is who she's married to?
I got married.
This is awful.
Became a dad to Cole and Ella. Unfortunately,
cheated on his
went
wife.
through a divorce. But eventually started worrying about how I would make it all work. And that's when something unexpected happened. In 2013, I walked into a contentious client meeting. We worked through the issue.
Why are we
And by the end of the meeting, the now happy client
and a client
offered to set me up on a blind date, which is how I ended up with Kamala Harris's phone number. Now, for generations, people have debated when to call the person you're being set up with.
Did he cheat on his wife with her?
And never in history has anyone suggested
I need this to be a little more
8:30 a.m.
This is boring. This
And
is
yet-
boring, Bubby.
That's when I dialed.
We know you're a schmuck.
I got Kamala's voicemail and I just started rambling.
I was joking. I don't care.
Hey, it's Doug. I'm on my way to an early meeting. Again, it's Doug. I remember I was trying to grab the words out of the air and just put them back in my mouth. And for what seemed like far too many minutes, I hung up. By the way, Kamala saved that voicemail. And she makes me listen to it on every anniversary. But that message wasn't the only unusual thing about that day. Now, Kamala, who normally would have been working hard at her office, just happened to be waiting at her apartment for a contractor to do some work on her kitchen. I was eating at my desk, which was not a regular occurrence.
If this
for a
is
busy
love
lawyer like
from a
me
white man, I
who
don't want it.
appreciated a good business lunch.
I don't want it.
But that's when she called me back. And we talked for an hour and we laughed. Well, you know that laugh. I love that laugh.
You like
And
Bubby laugh.
maybe that counted as our first date. Or maybe it was that Saturday night when I picked her up and told her, buckle up, I'm a really bad driver.
Still talking about
'Cause
himself.
you can't hide anything from Kamala Harris, so you might as well own it. And as I got to know her better,
I'm here for the
and
fact
just
checking.
fell in love fast, I learned what drives Kamala. And it's what you've seen over these past 4 years, and especially these past 4 weeks. She finds joy in pursuing justice. She stands up to bullies just like my parents taught me to. And she likes to see people do well, but hates when they're treated unfairly. She believes this work requires a basic curiosity in just how people are doing. Her empathy is her strength. Over the past decade, Kamala has connected me more deeply to my
Empathetic
faith,
people don't become
even though it's not the
prosecutors.
same as
I'm
hers.
just gonna say, I don't.
She comes to synagogue with me for high holiday services, and I go to church with her for Easter.
You know what?
I get to enjoy her mom's chili relleno recipe every Christmas, and she makes a mean brisket for Passover. It brings me right back to my grandmother's apartment in Brooklyn.
Why are we talking about
the one with the
brisket and
plastic-covered
Passover and his
couches.
grandmama?
But Kamala has fought against anti-Semitism and all forms of hate her whole career.
Yes, she committed to unwavering loyalty to.
She's the one who encouraged me as second gentleman to take up that fight, which is so personal to me. And those of you who belong to blended families know that they can be a little complicated. But as soon as our kids started calling her Mamala, I knew we'd be okay. Ella calls us a three-headed parenting machine. Kamala and Kirsten, thank you both. Thank you both for always putting your family and the kids first.
So this is how they
now Cole and Ella's
again they
friends
tie in
knew
the
that when they
parenting
come
thing
over
because
for
they
Sunday
attacked
dinner
her
with
for not
Mamala,
having birth children.
it was going to
so
be
this
real
is a
talk.
way for them to
in between
take
taking
connection. Like
cooking
she really is a
instructions,
mom,
they'd have
guys.
to answer questions about what problem they wanted to solve in the world. They learned that you've always got to be prepared because Kamala is going to prosecute the case. And in the same breath that Cole and Greenlee told us that they were engaged, they asked Kamala to officiate their wedding. And in the same way that she always steps up when it matters, Kamala put so much time into those remarks, and she bound them in a book that matched her dark red dress, and then turned that into a gift for the happy couple. A few days ago, during this incredible time we're going through, there was a brief window when Kamala was back at home. And I saw her sitting on her favorite chair, and in the middle of a wild month, I just hoped that she was having a quiet moment to herself.
While he's still talking about himself, just want to remind everybody that I do have my PayPal. We're about an hour and a half in. I have my PayPal there, my Venmo there, my Cash App. Thank you for everybody who is dropping me, some change. I really appreciate it. I'm here to create this community. I thank you for your support.
And it turns out it was. Ella had called her. That's Kamala. That's Kamala. Those kids are her priorities, and that scene was a perfect.
I don't know if anybody knows what's he been involved with.
She's always been there for our children,
know?
And I know she'll always be there for yours too. Kamala is a joyful warrior. It's doing for her country what she has always done for the people that she loves. Her passion will benefit.
This is going to end earlier, though, because it's Michelle Obama, and then it's Barack Obama, and then we're leaving. If we don't care about benefits.
And here's the thing about joyful warriors. They're still warriors. And Kamala is as tough as it comes. Just ask the criminals, the global gangsters, and the witnesses before the Senate Judiciary Committee. She never runs from a fight. And she knows the best way to deal with a coward is to take him head on. Because we all know cowards are weak, and Kamala Harris can smell weakness. She doesn't tolerate any BS. You've all seen that look, and you know that look I'm talking about.
That's playing a little
that
into
look is
angry
not
black
just
woman.
a
I don't
meme,
like
it reflects her true belief in honest and direct leadership.
I'm not sure I like
and it's
Doug
also
as her
why
husband.
she will not be distracted by
I don't
nonsense.
Like it. I don't like nothing about this speech.
Kamala knows that in order to win, we cannot
He talked
lose
more about
focus.
himself than her.
America, in this election,
not love.
you have
Like,
to decide who to trust with
out
your family's future.
I'm not.
I trusted Kamala with our family's future. It was the best decision I ever made.
I think she deserves.
This Thursday will be our 10th wedding anniversary.
It's only been 10 years.
Which I know it means I'm about to hear that embarrassing voicemail again. However,
he keeps talking
that's
about
not
himself,
all I'll be hearing.
That is so ugly.
That same night, I'll be hearing my wife,
Thank you,
Kamala
Jesse.
Harris, accept your nomination for President of the United States. And with your help, she will lead with joy and toughness. with that laugh and that look, with compassion and conviction. She'll lead from the belief that wherever we come from, whatever we look like, we're strongest when we fight for what we believe in, not just against what we fear.
It is.
Kamala Harris.
They just got married 10
was
years ago.
exactly
He was
the right
50,
person
she
for
was
me
49.
At an important moment in my life. And at this moment in our nation's history, she is exactly the right president. Thank you so much.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. And I really do believe that if this is the democracy they claim to be about, then the people that are running for president should be allowed to keep walking. Bush Ware said that him and Jill Stein were denied Secret Service coverage, and that's not cool either. But whatever. Here we go. This is the big time. This is the big time, y'all. We are
Please
waiting.
welcome former First Lady
Here we go.
Michelle Obama.
Here we go. This is what everybody's been waiting for. Wearing braid, which is just wear in the White House. Okay. Wow, she's got a long braid. Okay. Okay, like what she's wearing. Okay. I don't understand the song choice either.
Okay. We got a big night ahead. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much.
I think she's very intentional about wearing these braids, especially considering what she said about not feeling she could wear them while she was the first lady.
Okay.
So I do think that this was intentional.
Hello, Chicago. Yeah.
I don't know about that new blip.
Something
Not sure about
wonderfully magical is in the air, isn't it?
The reason why is because
I
love it, Justin.
In this arena, but it's spreading all across this country. We love a familiar feeling that's been buried too deep for far too long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Just because she has weird
contagious power.
Yeah, the nude look is a little too nude. Yeah. Okay,
the anticipation, the energy, the exhilaration of once again being on the cusp of a brighter day. The chance to vanquish the demons of fear, division, and hate that have consumed us and continue pursuing the unfinished promise of this great nation, the dream that our parents and grandparents fought and died and sacrificed for. America, hope is making a comeback.
But I love the Chris.
To be honest,
I love that.
I am realizing that until recently, I have mourned the dimming of that hope. And maybe you've experienced the same feelings, that deep pit in my stomach, a palpable sense of dread about the future. And for me, that mourning has also been mixed with my own personal grief. The last time I was here in my hometown was to memorialize my mother, the woman who showed me the meaning of hard work and humility and decency, the woman who set my moral compass high and showed me the power of my own voice.
She is no Rita Marley.
Folks, I still feel her loss so profoundly. I wasn't even sure if I'd be steady enough to stand before you tonight, but my heart compelled me to be here because of the sense of duty that I feel to honor her memory.
She's a great
and to remind us all not to squander the sacrifices our elders made to give us a better future. You see, my mom, in her steady, quiet way, lived out that striving sense of hope every single day of her life. She believed that all children, all people have value, that anyone can succeed if given the opportunity. She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed. They understood that it wasn't enough for their kids to thrive if everyone else around us was drowning. So my mother volunteered at the local school. She always looked out for the other kids on the block. She was glad to do the thankless, unglamorous work that for generations has strengthened the fabric of this nation. The belief that if you do unto others, if you love thy neighbor, if you work and scrape and sacrifice, it will pay off. If not for you, then maybe for your children or your grandchildren. You see, those values have been passed on through family farms and factory towns, through tree-lined streets and crowded tenements, through prayer groups and National Guard units and social studies classrooms. Those were the values my mother poured into me until her very last breath.
Which is why, Michelle, is why
Kamala
we
Harris
have
and I built our lives on
Obama.
those same foundational
Let's keep it a
values.
buck. Let's keep
Even
it
though our mothers grew up an ocean apart, they shared the
everybody
same
that
belief
believes
in the
in him.
promise of
But
this country.
It's her that keeps
That's
people
why
adhered to them.
her mother moved here from India at 19. It's why she taught Kamala about justice, about the obligation to lift others up, about our responsibility to give more than we take. She'd often tell her daughter, don't sit around and complain about things, do something.
So
with that voice in her head, Kamala went out and she worked hard in school, graduating from an HBCU, earning her law degree at a state school. And then she went on to work for the people, fighting to hold lawbreakers accountable, strengthening the rule of law, fighting to get folks better wages, cheaper prescription drugs, a good education, decent health care, child care, elder care. From a middle-class household, Kamala worked her way up to become Vice President of the United States of America.
My girl, now we're getting black.
Kamala Harris
now
is more than ready for this moment.
This is so.
She is one of the most qualified people ever to seek the office of the presidency.
She is, absolutely.
And she is one of the most dignified.
Ooh.
A tribute to her mother, to my mother, and to your mother too.
Mean, and what does it matter?
The embodiment of the stories we tell ourselves about this country. Her story is your story. It's my story. It's the story of the vast majority of Americans trying to build a better life. Look, Kamala knows, like we do, that regardless of where you come from, what you look like, who you love, how you worship, or what's in your bank account, we all deserve the opportunity to build a decent life. All of our contributions deserve to be accepted and valued. Because no one has a monopoly on what it means to be an American.
By the way.
No one.
This is why she lost me years ago. If you said that shit,
Kamala
okay. He said that's one
has
of her best
shown her allegiance to this
They
nation,
be
not by
canoodling and
spewing
shit.
anger and bitterness, but by living a life of service and always pushing the doors of opportunity open to others. She understands that most of us will never be afforded the grace of failing forward. We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth.
Just want to pause. Affirmative action is not made for people like me.
If we bankrupt a business or choke in a crisis, we don't get a second, third, or fourth chance. If things don't go our way, we don't have the luxury of whining or cheating others to get further ahead. No.
Yes, good.
We don't get to change the rules, so we always win.
And so
if we see a mountain in front of us, we don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top. No. We put our heads down. We get to work. In America, we do something. And throughout her entire life, that's what we've seen from Kamala Harris. The steel of her spine, the steadiness of her upbringing, the honesty of her example, and yes, the joy of her laughter and her light. It couldn't be more obvious.
Phenomenal woman.
Of the two major candidates in this race, only Kamala Harris truly understands the unseen labor and unwavering commitment that has always made America great.
You know what? I'm sick of this shit. I'm sorry.
Now,
I'm sorry.
We
the
know
labor that made this country great was enslaved labor.
Do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be Black.
No, I will never relax when coming to talk about slavery in the early years of this damn country, knowing damn well it doesn't exist for hundreds of years of slave labor. I can't relax. I hate when Black people do this shit. It pisses me off. I'm sorry.
I want to know. I want to know. Who's going to tell him? Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those Black jobs?
I agree with you. She's faithful. She's a dynamic person. She's charming. You forget that her best friend is a real friend.
It's his same old con. His same old con. Doubling down on ugly, misogynistic, racist lies as a substitute for real ideas and solutions that will actually make people's lives better. Look, because
let's go to the website. Do they have policy on the website yet? Let's check.
Taking away our freedom to control our bodies,
we check every day.
The freedom to become a mother through IVF like I did. Those things are not going to improve the health outcomes of our wives, mothers, and daughters. Shutting down the Department of Education, banning our books, none of that will prepare our kids for the future. Demonizing our children for being who they are and loving who they love. Look, that doesn't make anybody's life better.
Is that why your husband said, okay, you know what?
Instead,
I'm sorry. I find it particularly offensive when Black people have the opportunity to bring about radical change and they fall in line with the status quo. Okay.
Going small and even is the opposite of what we teach our kids.
Try to prove
going small is petty, it's unhealthy, and quite frankly, it's unpresidential.
Oh, yep. It's too petty to go small. No, actually, go small.
So,
Go small. Go.
why
Go small.
would any of us accept this from anyone seeking our highest office? Why would we normalize that type of backward leadership?
I'm watching on YouTube.
Doing
DNC.
so only demeans and cheapens our politics. It only serves to further discourage good, big-hearted people from wanting to get involved at all. America.
No, we knew he
Our
wouldn't
parents
win if
taught
he
us better
supported
than that.
same-sex marriage the first time.
And we deserve so much better than that. That's why we must do everything in our power to elect 2 of those good, big-hearted people. There is no other choice than Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. No other choice.
Good. Not going to work for some people, but it will work for some. And that's really the point. They have to get more people to vote for them.
As we embrace this renewed sense of hope, let us not forget the despair we have felt. Let us not forget what we are up against. Yes, Kamala and Tim are doing great now. We're loving it. They're packing arenas across the country. Folks are energized. We are feeling good. But remember, there are still so many people who are desperate for a different outcome, who are ready to question and criticize every move Kamala makes, who are eager to spread those lies, who don't want to vote for a woman, who will continue to prioritize building their wealth over ensuring that everyone has enough. So no matter how good we feel tonight or tomorrow or the next day, this is going to be an uphill battle. So folks, we cannot be our own worst enemies. No. See, because the minute something goes wrong, the minute a lie takes hold, folks, we cannot start wringing our hands.
Our edges are nice.
We cannot get a Goldilocks complex about whether everything is just right.
Oh! The shade on the table. Shade on the table.
Indulge our anxieties about whether this country will elect someone like Kamala instead of doing everything we can to get someone like Kamala elected.
Whoa, shade on the table. He said, y'all want perfection, you need to cut it out.
They have lived amazing lives. And I am confident that they will lead with compassion, inclusion, and grace. But they are still only human. They are not perfect. And like all of us, they will make mistakes.
Like your husband.
But luckily, y'all,
made
this is
intentional
not
mistakes.
just on them. No, this is up to us, all of us, to be the solution that we seek. It's up to all of us to be the antidote to the darkness and division.
Crying? Oh my God.
Look, I don't care how you identify politically, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or none of the above. This is our time to stand up for what we know.
I just want people to
in our
remember
hearts is
this.
right.
Her husband and best friend.
To stand up, not just for our basic freedoms, but for decency and humanity, for basic respect, dignity, and empathy, for the values at the very foundation of this democracy. It's up to us to remember what Kamala's mother told her. Don't just sit around and complain, do something. So if they lie about her, and they will, we've got to do something. If we see a bad poll, and we will, we got to put down that phone and do something. If we start feeling tired, if we start feeling that dread creeping back in, we got to pick ourselves up, throw water on our face, and what? We
got the
only
Justin's
have
ready.
2.5 months, y'all, to get this done. Only 11 weeks to make sure every single person we know is registered and has
They're scared.
a voting plan.
I said this last night. I said they're nervous. They're nervous.
Cannot
They know
afford
something we don't.
for anyone America to sit on their hands and wait to be called. Don't complain if no one from the campaign has specifically reached out to you to ask you for your support. There is simply no time for that kind of foolishness.
Wow. Wow.
You know what you need to do.
This is not.
So
I don't.
consider this
They're
to
scared.
be your official ask. Michelle Obama is asking you. No, I'm telling y'all to do something.
They're nervous. Because she should be winning by a landslide. She should be mollywopping him right now. But she's not. And they're concerned.
This election is going to be close. In some states, just a handful, listen to me, a handful of votes in every precinct could decide the winner. So we need to vote in numbers that erase any doubt. We need to overwhelm any effort to suppress us.
She's correct here.
Our fate is in our hands.
They can't risk it because there will be voter suppression.
We have the power to turn our country away from the fear, division, and smallness of the past. We have the power.
It does.
To marry our hope with our action.
And I think it's because of Jill and Butch just entering
to pay forward the love, sweat, and sacrifice of our mothers and fathers and all those who came before us. We did it before, y'all, and we sure can do it again. Let us work like our lives depend on it.
Yeah,
and let us keep moving our country forward and go higher. Yes, always higher than we've ever gone before as we elect the next president and vice president of the United States, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Thank you all. God bless.
Real quick before Barry comes on. Okay. God, there was so much in that speech. I can't even break it all down. That was very much stop playing around. Stop playing. Oh, she's still talking. Hold on.
I have one more job tonight.
She's got one more, and she's gonna introduce her husband. Okay. I'm gonna introduce Barry.
Yeah. One more job. You all, thank you for all the love, but it is now my honor to introduce somebody who knows a whole lot about hope. Someone who has spent his life strengthening our democracy. And let me tell you, as someone who lives with him, he wakes up every day, and thinks about what's best for this country. Please welcome America's 44th president and the love of my life, Barack Obama.
Okay, y'all, there was just so much that was going on that speech. I know they're coming on and it's great or whatever, but like, okay, let's just watch it.
Hello, Chicago!
It's fear of the uncommitted and fear of the protesters and the protest votes. And Jill and Butch coming in right now, firing people up. They're nervous. And they're going to try to suppress their voices, which is not democratic.
Thank you.
Oh, she's a
Thank
great
everybody.
speaker.
Thank you.
I think women named Michelle are actually really great speakers.
Thank you. All right. That's enough. Thank you.
Sorry, I don't find anything adorable about how to work them. You guys.
It's good to be home.
I don't.
It It is good to be home, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling fired up. I am feeling ready to go. Even if I am the only person stupid enough to speak after Michelle Obama.
No, I don't think that's what they're worried about. They're worried about.
I am feeling hopeful.
They are, and I'm gonna be honest. They are worried about people like me.
Because this convention has always been pretty good to kids with funny names who believe in a country where anything is possible. Because we have a chance to elect someone who has spent her entire life trying to give people the same chances America gave her. Someone who sees you and hears you and will get up every single day and fight for you. The next president of the United States of America, Kamala Harris. It's been 16 years since I had the honor of accepting this party's nomination for president. And I know that's hard to believe because I have not aged a bit. But it's true. And looking back, I can say without question that my first big decision as your nominee turned out to be one of my best. And that was asking Joe Biden to serve by my side as vice president. Other than some common Irish blood,
I feel like a cuck, though. I mean, decades
Joe and
of
I
political service,
come from different backgrounds.
Vice president to the junior
we became brothers
from Illinois.
And as we worked together for 8,
had to hurt.
Sometimes pretty tough years.
Like
what
that
I came to admire most about Joe wasn't just his smarts,
and I know
his experience. It was his empathy and his decency and his hard-earned resilience, his unshakable belief that everyone in this country deserves a fair shot.
Y'all love Obama. It's like
and over the last 4 years, those are the values
to throw you off a bridge
America has needed most.
But I was alive then.
At a time when millions of our fellow citizens were
I remember the Obama
dying. We needed a leader with the character to put politics aside and do what was right.
After the housing crisis.
At a time when our economy was reeling, we needed a leader with the determination to drive what would become the world's strongest recovery. 15 million jobs, higher wages, lower health care costs.
Okay.
At a time when the other party had turned into a cult of personality, we needed a leader who was steady and brought people together.
You are the
and
epitome
was selfless
of cult
enough
of personality.
to do the rarest thing there is in politics.
Most of the votes you got were
putting his own ambition aside for the sake of the country.
He's black. Okay, but let's just be real here.
History will remember Joe Biden as an outstanding president who defended democracy at a moment of great danger. And I am proud to call him my president, but I am even prouder to call him my friend. Now,
Malcolm,
the torch has been passed.
Malcolm from Pennsylvania.
Now it is up to all of us to fight for the America we believe in. And make no mistake, it will be a fight. for all the incredible energy we've been able to generate over the last few weeks, for all the rallies and the memes. This will still be a tight race in a closely divided country. A country where too many Americans are still struggling. Where a lot of Americans don't believe government can help.
Leave. Get out of the way.
And as we gather here tonight,
you did what
the
you needed
people
to do.
who will decide this election
is taking over.
are asking a very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future, about my children's future, about our future together?
Who's thinking about the Sudanese future and Congolese future and the
one thing is for certain:
future and the Haitian future, Venezuelan.
Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question.
Future. The Bangladesh future.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames.
I need him to talk race.
Crazy conspiracy theories.
I need Obama to get racial today.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes.
He's very Leo, and I love that. And look what I love about him. He's a very arrogant, confident motherfucker. I love it.
It just goes on and on.
If you've never dated a Leo and haven't understood how they can charm you out of your
The other day I heard someone compare Trump
I know I married one.
to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day.
They're my weakness. Leos are my weakness. If I can resist Obama, so can you.
Now, from a neighbor, that's exhausting. From a president, it's just dangerous.
Y'all messy. Y'all messy.
The truth is, Donald Trump sees power as nothing more than it means to his ends. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help.
I'm going to give y'all a drinking game.
And his rich friends.
We're going to have middle class.
He killed a bipartisan immigration deal written in part by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress that would have helped secure our southern border because he thought trying to actually solve the problem would hurt his campaign.
You ain't lying, actually.
He doesn't. Do not boo. Vote.
I know Michelle gets the back. Like,
he doesn't seem to care if more women lose their reproductive freedom since
she still
won't
don't know
affect his life.
What happened? She married a Leo.
And most of all, Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly
If you've ever
divided
been with a Leo man,
between us and them.
Whatever gender identity you are,
the real Americans,
you're with a
who
Leo
of course
man.
support him, and the outsiders who don't. And he wants you to think that you'll be richer and safer.
I have one currently ruining me.
If you will just give him the power to put those other people back in their place. It is one of the oldest tricks in politics. From a guy whose act has, let's face it, gotten pretty stale. We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse.
Your presidency was bumbling chaos.
America's ready for a new chapter. America's ready for a better story. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris is ready for the job. This is a person who has spent her life fighting on behalf of people who need a voice and a champion. As you heard from Michelle, Kamala was not born into privilege. She had to work for what she's got. And she actually cares about what other people are going through. She's not the neighbor running the leaf blower. She's the neighbor rushing over to help when you need a hand.
He does lawn care?
As a prosecutor, Kamala stood up for children who had been victims of sexual abuse.
Yeah.
As an attorney general of the most populous state in the country, she fought big banks and for-profit colleges, securing billions of dollars.
Real quick. I know the whole thing. Oh, she locked up thousands of black men, exaggerates, whatever. I think we have to be honest that I know they're playing up the positive things are, but that woman did put a lot of folks in jail. I've actually talked to a few of them. Just like
much relief as possible for the families who deserved it.
Say it again. Say it again.
As vice president,
say it again.
She helped take on the drug companies.
She's a black woman with an Indian mother.
Lower the cost of health care.
There was privilege.
Give families with kids a tax cut.
Say it.
And she is running for president with real plans to lower costs even more and protect Medicare and Medicaid and sign a law to guarantee every woman's right to make her own health care decisions.
They will not give you a chance to language. And that really bothers me. In 2024, you have the opportunity to take what you have on paper and bring it to life.
In other words,
won't do it.
Kamala Harris won't be focused on her problems. She'll be focused on yours. As president, she won't just cater to her own supporters and punish those who refuse to kiss the ring or bend the knee. She'll work on behalf of every American. That's who Kamala is.
I'm sorry. She has
in the White House
kissed the ring
of
AIPAC already.
What are you standing partner
about?
In Governor Tim Walz.
Sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. We are listening to a war.
Let me tell you something.
Understand everybody who's watching this right now.
Let me tell you something. I love this guy.
No one has deported.
Tim is the kind of person who should
no one
be
has
in
armed
politics.
more people than him.
Born in a small town, served his country, taught kids, coached football, took care of his neighbors. He knows who he is, and he knows what's important. You can tell those flannel shirts he wears don't come from some political consultant. They come from his closet, and they have been through some stuff.
What's funny?
They have been through some stuff. That's right.
Okay. Why are we roasting?
Together, Kamala and Tim have kept faith with America's central story. A story that says we are all created equal. All of us endowed with certain inalienable rights, that everyone deserves a chance, that even when we don't agree with each other, we can find a way to live with each other. That's Kamala's vision. That's Tim's vision. That's the Democratic Party's vision. And our job over the next 11 weeks is to convince as many people as possible to vote for that vision.
When he's done, I'm going to have some final thoughts. So stick with me just for a couple of minutes.
Now, it won't be easy.
Before we end the night.
The other side knows it's easier to play on people's fears and cynicism, always has been. They will tell you that government is inherently corrupt, that sacrifice and generosity are for suckers.
No, government is inherently corrupt.
Since the game is rigged, it's okay to take what you want and just look after your own.
No, we didn't say that.
That's the easy path. We have a different task. Our job is to convince people that democracy can actually deliver. And in doing that, we can't just point to what we've already accomplished. We can't just rely on the ideas of the past. We need to chart a new way forward to meet the challenges of today. And Kamala understands this. She knows, for example, that if we want to make it easier for more young people to buy a home, we need to build more units and clear away some of the outdated laws and regulations that made it harder to build homes for working people in this country. That is a priority. And she's put out a bold new plan to do just that.
Just building more units, lower the cost of them. There are so many
on healthcare. We should all be
that people can't
proud of the enormous progress that we've made through the Affordable Care Act, providing millions of people access to affordable coverage, protecting millions more from unscrupulous insurance practices.
That's what it is.
I noticed, by the way, that since it's become popular, they don't call it Obamacare no more. But Kamala knows we can't stop there, which is why she'll keep working to limit out-of-pocket costs. Kamala knows that if we want to help people get ahead,
insulin, we
need to put a college degree within reach of more Americans. But she also knows college shouldn't be the only ticket to the middle class. We need to follow the lead of governors like Tim Walz, who said, if you've got the skills and the drive, you shouldn't need a degree to work for state government.
I know I'm one of the first people to get.
And in this new economy,
we never talk about people getting wealthy.
We need a president who actually cares about the millions of people all across this country who wake up every single day to do the essential, often thankless work, to care for our sick, to clean our streets, to deliver our packages. We need a president who will stand up for their right to bargain for better wages and working conditions. And Kamala will be that president.
Hey, honey. Oh, look at Sherelle. They showing all the Philly and PA people. Why? Ooh. I'm back. Okay. I'm a little nervous.
Yes, she can. Harris-Walz administration can help us move past some of the tired old debates that keep stifling progress. Because at their core, Kamala and Tim understand that when everybody gets a fair shot, we are all better off. They understand that when every child gets a good education, the whole economy gets stronger. When women are paid the same as men for doing the same job, all families benefit.
And they're priced about $200,000 above what
they understand that we can secure our borders without tearing kids away from their parents. Just like we can keep our streets safe while also building trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve and eliminating bias. That will make it better for everybody.
Put a one in the chat if you ever bought drugs from me. No? Okay, don't do that.
Donald Trump and his well-heeled donors, they don't see the world that way. For them, one group's gains is necessarily another group's loss. For them, freedom means that the powerful can do pretty much what they please.
I really
whether it's fire workers trying to organize a union or put poison in our rivers or avoid paying taxes like everybody else has to do. Well, we have a broader idea of freedom. We believe in the freedom to provide for your family.
I don't think
if you're willing to work hard. The freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water and send your kids to school without worrying if they'll come home. We believe that true freedom gives each of us the right to make decisions about our own life, how we worship, what our family looks like, how many kids we have, who we marry, And we believe that freedom requires us
you ain't talking
to recognize that
I
other
know.
people have the freedom to make choices
The man
that
who
are
said marriage
different
is
than ours.
a man
That's
and
okay.
a woman ain't talking. Oh, bitch. I know.
That's the America Kamala Harris and Tim Walz believe in.
Talking.
An America where we, the people, includes everyone.
Yes. You want to talk about
because that's the only way this American experiment works.
In the dictionary, the definition is
and despite what our politics might suggest, I think most Americans understand that. Democracy isn't just a bunch of abstract principles and dusty laws in some book somewhere.
But when it does happen, people will remember.
It's the values we live by.
Us who were for it. And
it's the way we treat each other, including those who don't look like us, or pray like us, or see the world exactly like we do. That sense of mutual respect has to be part of our message.
But can we talk about him as an orator? Look at his
politics
here.
Have become so polarized these days.
And I do it actually.
That all of us across the political spectrum,
when you lean to the side,
seem so quick to
and
assume the worst in
relax
others,
your shoulder
unless they agree with us on every single issue.
The people, I'm with you. I'm with.
We start thinking that the only way to win
Straight
is
up,
to
it's
scold and shame and out yell the other side.
Lean a bit. It's I'm with you.
And after a while, regular folks just tune out.
Really good at that.
Or they don't bother to vote.
I study great orators so that I can be, and
now that approach may work for the politicians who just want attention and thrive on division. But it won't work for us to make progress on the things we care about, the things that really affect people's lives.
Is he wearing velveteen?
We need to remember that we all got our blind spots and contradictions and prejudices.
That is a sateen jacket.
And that if we want to win over those who aren't yet ready to support our candidates, we need to listen to their concerns and maybe learn something in the process.
They need to get his tailor to come with Kamala for the
after all,
however many days.
If a parent or grandparent occasionally says something that makes us cringe, we don't automatically assume they're bad people.
Oh.
We recognize that the world is moving fast.
He's doing the beer thing again.
That they need time and maybe a little encouragement to catch up.
Oh, no.
Our fellow citizens
he was raised
deserve the same grace we hope they'll extend to us.
Because a biracial person raised by a black woman is still well, white women that are in that y'all.
That's how we can build a true Democratic majority.
Get the fuck.
One that can get things done.
Barack Obama.
And by the way, that does not just matter to the people in this country.
Yeah, he's saying they'll come around.
The rest of the world is watching.
If you bring them
to see if we can actually pull this off
and have a conversation.
No nation, no society has ever tried to build a democracy as big and as diverse as ours before.
We don't have one.
One that includes people that over decades have come from every corner of the globe. One where our allegiances and our community are defined not by race or blood, but by a common creed.
No, there's no common creed.
And that's why when we uphold our values, the world's a little brighter. When we don't, the world's a little dimmer. And dictators and autocrats feel emboldened. And over time, we become less safe. We shouldn't be the world's policemen.
But we are, and you
eradicate every cruelty and injustice in the world.
Oh my God!
But America can be and must be a force for good. Discouraging conflict, fighting disease, promoting human rights, protecting the planet from climate change, defending freedom, brokering peace. That's what Kamala Harris believes, and so do most Americans.
Okay. I know a war criminal ain't fucking talking. I know a war criminal ain't fucking talking. How many children are dead because of your bombs? I know Syria hates to see Barack Obama
I know
come in.
these ideas can feel pretty naive right now. We live in a time of such confusion and rancor.
Confusion because of niggas like
with a culture that puts a premium on things that don't last. Money, fame, status, likes.
Likes?
We chase the approval of strangers on our phones.
What the fuck is he talking?
We build all manner of walls and fences around ourselves, and then we wonder why we feel so alone.
Is he talking to the incels now?
We don't trust each other as much because we don't take the time to know each other. And in that space between us, politicians and algorithms teach us to caricature each other and troll each other and fear each other. But here's the good news, Chicago. All across America, in big cities and small towns, away from all the noise, the ties that bind us together are still there.
You know what? You made a point.
We still coach Little League and look out for our elderly neighbors. We still feed the hungry in churches and mosques and synagogues and temples. We share the same pride when our Olympic athletes compete for the gold. Because the vast majority of us do not want to live in a country that's bitter and divided. We want something better. We want to be better. And the joy and the excitement that we're seeing around this campaign tells us we're not alone.
No, messy.
You know, I've spent a lot of time thinking about these past few months because, as Michelle mentioned, this summer we lost her mom, Ms. Marion Robinson. And I don't know that anybody has ever loved their mother-in-law any more than I love mine. Mostly it's because she was funny and wise and the least pretentious person I knew. That, and she always defended me with Michelle when I messed up. I'd hide behind her. But I also think one of the reasons Mary and I became so close was she reminded me of my grandmother, the woman who helped raise me as a child. And on the surface, the two of them did not have a lot in common. One was a black woman from right here, south side of Chicago, right down the way. Went to Englewood High School. The other was a little old white lady born in a tiny town called Peru, Kansas. Now, I know there aren't that many people from Peru.
You know, you're talking about Peru, and I'm thinking about the Crips and Bloods.
Yet they shared
I'm
a basic outlook on life. They were strong, smart, resourceful women.
You're not
full
wrong
of common sense.
for your frustration.
Who, regardless of the barriers they encountered, and women growing up in the 40s and 50s and 60s, they encountered barriers. They still went about their business without fuss or complaint and provided an unshakable foundation of love for their children and their grandchildren.
Okay.
In that sense, they both represented an entire generation of working people who, through war and depression, discrimination and limited opportunity, helped build this country.
So just so y'all know,
a lot of them toiled every day at jobs
I'm not.
that were often too small for them.
Interracial relations.
And didn't pay a lot.
And black man, whatever. Cool. But there's
They
something
willingly
about being
went without
a white woman versus being raised by a black woman.
just to
social justice issues.
keep a roof over the family's heads, just to give their children something better. But they knew what was true. They knew what mattered. Things like honesty and integrity, kindness and hard work.
Integrity.
They weren't impressed with braggarts
for
or
queer
bullies.
marriage.
They
you can
they
win.
didn't think putting other people down lifted you up or made you strong. They didn't spend a lot of time obsessing about what they didn't have.
And
instead, they appreciated what they did. They found pleasure in simple things. A card game with friends, a good meal, and laughter around the kitchen table. Helping others. And most of all, seeing their children do things and go places that they would have never imagined for themselves.
Where is this man?
Whether you are a Democrat or a Republican or somewhere in between, we have all had people like that in our lives. People like Kamala's parents, who crossed oceans because they believed in the promise of America. People like Tim's parents, who taught him about the importance of service. Good, hard-working people who weren't famous or powerful, but who managed in countless ways to leave this country just a little bit better than they found it. As much as any policy or program, I believe that's what we yearn for. A return to an America where we work together and look out for each other. A restoration of what Lincoln called, on the eve of civil war, our bonds of affection. An America that taps what he called the better angels of our nature. That is what this election is about.
No, listen.
And I believe that's why if we each do our part over the next 77 days, if we knock on doors, if we make phone calls, if we talk to our friends, if we listen to our neighbors, if we work like we've never worked before,
with my beer.
If we hold firm to our convictions,
wrapping up though, because he's got a crescendo going.
We will elect Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States.
He's building.
And Tim Walz as the next vice president of the United States. We will elect leaders up and down the ballot who will fight for the hopeful, forward-looking America we all believe in. And together, we too will build a country that is more secure and more just, more equal, and more free. So let's get to work. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
Okay. So, I call this political theater with Dr. T for a reason. It is because I fundamentally understand that the Democratic National Convention is a pep rally, and it is a way for them to puff up their chests and to whatever. They have been repeating a lot of the same talking points, and we get it, right? $35 for insulin, okay. Seniors are not going to pay this, okay, cool, boom. Middle class aspirations, boom. We get all of that. There's nothing. So I was reading this article that said that which is likening her to Lyndon Johnson, right? Lyndon Johnson was virulent racist, but Lyndon Johnson made sure that we got a lot of those civil rights acts because they were good for the country. And he realized ultimately that they were good for the country. Kamala Harris is on that kind of progressive wave. But in the last 60 some odd years, we've had kind of people who are more radical or left of that, trying to push an actually 21st century progressive agenda. The problem, what people have been pointing out with regards to this convention is their slogan is "We're not going back," right? That's what Harrison Walls said. We're not going back. They are going back because they had Hillary Clinton speak. Bill Clinton is, on the docket. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama. These are their keynote people. Yes, they have other people speaking, but these are their keynote people, right? That's not progress, right? What we need to be doing is amplifying the voices of younger folks with newer ideas and a fresh take on what they want this country to look like. They keep talking about democracy. Democracy does not exist in the United States. And if any of you watching actually believes that, then I definitely recommend you visit your history books and just a little deep dive. I am troubled. You use the word gaslighting a lot. So gaslighting is when, simply, when you know that X happened and somebody you love and care about, or some, whatever, comes and tells you it didn't happen. Actually, why happened, and the fact that you believe that X happened means something's wrong with you, and you need to work that out. That's gaslighting. And so when we talk about collective gaslighting, we're like, okay, so Barack Obama said several things during his speech that but it makes our heads spin because we're like, we were around during that time, right? We were alive. We paid attention. We understand, right? And it becomes an issue where you're just like, how do I trust you? How do I believe you? Somebody said my hand cuts the volume. I'm so sorry. How do we trust you? How do we believe you? Actually, I'm just we want to believe you, right? But we also understand that the Democratic Party, they lie. They lie. They lie to lock in our votes. They lie to get us to vote for them. That's what politicians do, or what have you. You basically are picking a side. What folks like me, and this is what I want all of you to understand, when people are like, I don't understand why you're not voting for her. What folks like me have to understand, what folks like you have to understand about people like me, is that I said I wasn't voting for Biden. Many people said they weren't going to vote for Biden, which is why they got rid of him, right? And they brought Kamala in. Now, if you're saying you're going to vote for Kamala, but you weren't going to vote for Biden, well, that doesn't make sense. They have the same platform. They have the same agenda. They are the same people, right? So if you are voting for her, you have to admit that it's an identity politics thing. Either you're voting for her because she's a woman, or she's Black, or she's, Indian, whatever it is, because she's not different from him. And they had to bring out Obama because Kamala Harris is right of Obama. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but she is. And so when you think about Obama's legacy in the 8 years that he is in office, and I get it, a lot of people don't think much about foreign policy. I'm actually somebody who cares a lot about that. And the United States foreign policy usually means them taking their military force and all of their money and going into countries and destroying the lives of millions of people every single year. I care about that. Like, I do. And so while I know that I can't take a huge stance on things and I can't fix things, I know that I can act with integrity, and I can do things that make me feel comfortable with being who I am. And so my choice not to vote is because I wasn't going to vote for Biden, and I cannot vote for what they're trying to do here. And people say, oh, well, you're a Trump supporter. No, I'm not a Trump supporter. I think he's absolutely disgusting and vile. And I don't understand why the Democrats aren't mollywopping him. Like, they need to mollywop him. They do. And the fact that you can't, the fact that you are facing somebody who just was convicted of 34 felonies, someone who's an adjudicated rapist, someone who's a virulent racist and is extremely xenophobic, he is misogynistic, you can't beat him? What that tells me is that you are not doing what you need to do as a representative of the Democratic Party. And instead, what you're choosing to do is lying to people. Well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We can all see the Supreme Court of the United States. We all know who's on the court. If Kamala wins, none of the conservatives are going to retire unless one of them happens to freaking die, right? They're not retiring. They're not giving up that slot. So why are they pushing this narrative? Well, it's all about, the Supreme Court. No, none of them are actually leaving. The majority of them are actually quite young. And since they have lifetime appointments, they've got 10, 20 years left to go. You think Clarence Thomas is going to retire while Kamala Harris is president? Unless they oust him, right? But he's not going anywhere. None of them are. So it's a talking point that doesn't need to happen. The talks about reproductive justice and abortion and things like that, they all fall flat because they continue to push this narrative about abortion and being for rape or, the possible death of a woman, when the rest of us are saying abortion on demand, birth control on demand, reproductive choices on demand. Doesn't matter the circumstance. It could be incest. It could be, I don't want to fucking have this baby. That's what we're calling for. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we don't fall for the okie doke. And I think what ends up happening is that there are people who are very much in the middle and people who are very much like, well, I only support abortion in those cases, but I want to vote Democrat. That's who they're appealing to. That's who they want to go to. And so when they say things like, and this is her line, if Congress passes a bill and puts it on my desk, I will sign it. That's her way of saying, she has no control over this. There's nothing she can do as an individual, and that it is going to be up to Congress, and therefore it is up to you. If you don't get out and vote down ballot, if you don't come in 2 years in the midterms and vote to do this, it's your fault that I was not able to sign this bill. And that is an affront to thinking people. Okay? Like, I am just like, this is crazy. So, yeah, there's some of us that just don't fall for this shit. And there's some of us who want more. And I think it's really troubling when people come at folks like me. I am African American. I am a descendant of people who were enslaved on this continent and in other countries, okay? I am disabled. I am queer, okay? Holla at me if you are looking for a girlfriend, because I could use one. I am a number of things. I was born into poverty. I grew up poor. Like, I have all of these intersections of my identity that inform my worldview. And what it's telling me is that you don't get to be in this position as a Black woman and not do everything you can to bring about a revolution that improves the lives of our people. And when you choose not to, I'm sorry, I can't rock with you. There are African people in Palestine. There are Afro-Palestinians, y'all. Like, come on. But when you come out and you tell us that, you were planting trees for Israel as a child and you've since had an unwavering commitment to them, I can't trust you. I'm sorry. Like, I can't trust that you are going to do these other things that you say you're going to do, because we know that you are controlled by AIPAC. We know that you are controlled by big business, okay? We know that big pharma controls. We know that all these things, and you can say all the things that you want, but they control you. And you know that. You know that the common people like me, we don't have enough money to buy you. Therefore, you are not beholden to us. And so every time people come at me, it's generally white people, okay? Either older Gen X or younger boomer white women and men, they come at me because I'm saying enough is enough. Real talk. Lyndon B. Johnson couldn't fucking stand us, but he did more to improve our lives than any president in history. I don't care about your feelings. Fuck your feelings. Do the right thing for this economy, okay? Because I know that's what drives you. And so if you do the right thing for the economy, I know you will eventually do the right thing for me. God, stop making this about identity. They don't give a fuck about transgender people. The Democrats absolutely 100% do not give a fuck about transgender people. If you are a transgender and you believe that they care about you, you're lying to yourself, and I want you to cut the shit. The same way Barack Obama was elected when he said that marriage is between a man and a woman. He did not give a fuck about throwing us under the bus. It was only when he was comfortable and knew he couldn't run again that he pushed that agenda. Please see this shit for what it is. And I'm going to keep talking. And I'm going to keep saying what I say. And I'm going to keep expressing what I express. Because there are people that are trying to push them. Okay, y'all think it doesn't work? Oh, we should wait until after the election? Kamala Harris is exactly where she is right now because people were pushing back, because of protesting, because people were saying, we are not voting for this motherfucking weekend at Bernie's show that you are trying to sell to us. They got rid of Biden. That man was ready to keep going. He got COVID. They said, get out. They waited for that shit. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody with COVID coughed on his ass. Because that's how the government works, right? They got rid of his ass. And they put her in when they should have had an open fucking, oh my God. They should have had an open convention, because that would be the democratic way to go about it. No, they appointed her. They put her in the slot. Okay. And now they're running, and we're just supposed to all be cool with this as they keep talking about democracy. Where was the democratic process there? There wasn't one. But we're all supposed to just fall in line because we don't want Trump. We don't want Trump. Guess what? And this is going to sound controversial, and I need y'all to rock with me for a second. Outside of COVID, what did Donald Trump do? Because I remember him largely not doing a goddamn thing. I largely remember him not passing legislation. He did the Muslim ban, which they got rid of that or what have you. What else did he do? He talked a big game. He didn't get rid of the ACA. And I'm not saying this to say, oh, we can deal with another 4 years of Trump. What I'm saying is that he's a figurehead. And what I'm saying is that the people with the real money and power can do whatever they want, regardless of who is in the office. The reason they were not able to do as much as they wanted to do out of that Project 2025 agenda, because this is the same think tank that has been advising conservative leadership for the last 40 years. The main reason they were unable to do those things is because of COVID. If COVID didn't happen, everything that you read in Project 2025 would have already started happening. So COVID, I hate to fucking say it, but it kind of like it helped stave off what he could have done. The man had 1,400 plus open vacancies in his administration. He didn't care about any of this. He ran because he knew the law was coming the same reason he's running right now, so he can avoid jail time. So we see that for what it is. We're not supporting Trump. We are trying to get the people who are supposed to be representing the progressive and the majority of the American people. Only 39% of Americans are Republicans. I mean, that may be shifting now with the incels moving more right, but they are not. We're not 50-50. We're not 51-49. The Democrats should win every time. But the reason they don't is because they often push conservative points and a conservative agenda that alienates people like me. This $6,000 to have a newborn thing that Kamala is touting as a really good idea is not. It is natalist, and you all should be very afraid of this, okay? And I don't know how to stress this enough, okay? We are moving into very dangerous territory. Now, as a Black woman, y'all all know, I always talk about it. I'd be like, I occasionally pull out my guns and I'm like, I got them and I'm okay. I can take care of me and my son. But if they elect a Black woman as president, guard your grills. Like, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. Either way, it's going to get ugly. If he wins, it's going to get ugly. If she wins, it's going to get ugly.
fuck all of this political theater. I'll keep coming back and talking about this stuff. I want y'all to start preparing for what's going to happen after this election. You're allowed to have your reverie if she wins and do all the inauguration stuff. And if that even happens, but we are on the verge of one of two things, if not both: World War III and a civil war. And that's really all I want to say to y'all today. I will see you all back again tomorrow. And 9 p.m. we will be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern time. That is -4 on the global thing. It's 8 p.m. DNC time, and we'll do this again. I love you. Thank you. I noticed I got some Cash Apps and Venmos. I really appreciate everybody. PayPal is there. Venmo is there. Cash App is there. Thank you, everybody who supports my work and what I'm trying to do here. Like, I'm about revolution, about liberation, and I feel like we have to work through this together. So I appreciate you all joining me today and joining us for this conversation as we watch the DNC. We will do it again tomorrow. I love you all so very much, and I really appreciate all of your support.